What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto becoming a big capitalist as Uchiha? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. Konoha year 20. In a lush forest, a group of people were panting and resting on the spot, looking like they had just finished a fight. Tobirama Senju looked at his disciples, all of them in a sorry state, their clothes tattered and torn, some even injured. He was wise all his life, but foolish for a moment. How could he be ambushed at the negotiation table after the end of the Ninja World War? And that damn Raikage, how did you discipline your men? You don't know anything about the coup of your subordinates? No matter how difficult it is to manage ninjas, can it be more difficult than the Uchiha group of ancestral psychopaths? Didn't the Uchihas be tamed by me? What a bunch of black barbarians without any IQ. But now scolding Raikage is of no use, after all. He himself was killed by those two rebellious guys, Gold and Silver brothers. Tobirama Senju felt the chakra in his body, there was still more than half left. With his flying thunder god technique, it was no problem to return to the village alone, but there were still a group of burdens. Considering the current situation, it was time to make a decision. Tobirama Senju closed his eyes and pondered for a long time, whether to protect himself or his disciples. In this situation, if you want to get away, you must have someone to lure away the elite troops of the Gold and Silver brothers, but the result of this person. Tobirama Senju had a serious expression, and the words that followed were not spoken, because the result was obvious, there was only one way to die. As soon as the words fell, silence was ushered in. No one spoke, after all, no one wanted to die. A few seconds later, Hiruzen Sarutobi spoke with determination in his tone. "I'll go." Tobirama Senju looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi, with a hint of arc in the corner of his mouth under his serious expression. At this moment, Danzo was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. The gap between him and Hiruzen Sarutobi had already appeared in the hesitation just now. "I am the Hokage, the bait is naturally me. You are all young inheritors of the will of fire who will protect the village in the future." Tobirama Senju's words caused a great uproar. Everyone present spoke out to dissuade him. Taking Tobirama Senju's life in exchange for their lives was too precious. Especially Danzo, now his hands and feet no longer trembled, and he directly stood up to be a bait, replacing Tobirama to die. But now there was not so much time for Danzo to perform. Tobirama's few words of criticism instantly suppressed Danzo, and then he said to Hiruzen Sarutobi, "Monkey, protect those who admire the village and trust you, and then cultivate them to become people who can entrust the next era. From tomorrow onwards, you will be the Hokage. Monkey, Konoha is entrusted to you." At this moment, Konoha, Uchiha clan land. In the room, the young man put his hands together, muttering words in his mouth. "Buddha, Guanyin Bodhisattva, Jade Emperor, Jesus. It's time to show your power. Bless me with a golden prize this time. Today is a good day." The second Hokage Tobirama is negotiating with the Raikage. If nothing unexpected happens, he should be dead. I can't draw a white prize again on such a festive day. Uchiha Nan looked at the big turntable in front of him, expecting this monthly lottery to give him a surprise. As a transmigrator, this wheel is Uchiha Nan's trump card for survival in this dangerous world of Naruto. Apart from the opening novice gift package, which gave 3 experience rolls of the Kaleidoscope Sharingan, each with a usage time of 1 day, the rest is the turntable lottery. Once a month for a fixed lottery, and completing the tasks released by the turntable can increase the number of lottery draws. The prizes in the wheel's prize pool are varied, and according to his more than 10 years of exploration, they are divided into 5 types: white, green, red, orange, and gold. White corresponds to living props, such as clothes, shoes, benches, milk, etc. Green corresponds to ninja props, such as kunai, shurikens, explosive tags, etc. Red represents ninjutsu, with all kinds of ninjutsu available, from forbidden techniques to ordinary shadow clones. Orange represents bloodline limits, such as Byakugan, wood release, ice release, magnet release, lava release, etc. In the golden prize pool are the top quality products in the Naruto world: Kaleidoscope Sharingan, Eternal Kaleidoscope Sharingan, Senju Body, Perfect Sage Mode, Chakra Fruit. After transmigrating for 16 years, Uchiha Nan's lottery draws often wander between white and green. He is as happy as the new year when he draws red. The number of oranges is even only once, and gold. Uchiha Nan dare not even think about it. Ding dong, welcome to the host's lottery draw. Uchiha Nan clicked the lottery button. The crisp sound rang out. The huge turntable lit up. The pointer twisted. A total of thousands of grids, of which white occupies a large part. Green is mixed between white. Red is like a red dot dotted between the turntable. Orange is very few. Gold only occupies 1 or 2 grids. If you don't look carefully, you can't see it. Gold, gold, give me gold. Uchiha Nan's eyes were red. The 3 Tomo Sharingan stared at the pointer. His hands clenched into fists. The force made his fingers slightly white. Damn it, green. 3 explosive tags. Uchiha Nan sighed. As expected, it was still like this, either white or green. Explosive tags are explosive tags. An explosive tag is also quite expensive. It's not bad to sell it for money. Uchiha Nan comforted himself. If you want to get gold, relying on your own luck is no chance. Uchiha Nan believes that he does not have the life of a European emperor, and being a human being still depends on himself. Uchiha Nan opened the task interface released by the turntable, which showed a long-term task. From the day Uchiha Nan officially became a ninja, the task released by the turntable. Task: become the Hokage of Konoha. Reward: 1 chance to draw a golden reward from the turntable. Now is the best time to complete this long-term task. Born in the time period when Tobirama Senju was the Hokage, it is impossible to become the Hokage through formal channels. To be Tobirama Senju's apprentice, and then be recognized by Tobirama Senju, and finally be appointed by Tobirama Senju to become the Hokage? He is an Uchiha, the clan emblem on his clothes, the Tomo in his eyes. Just looking at it can remind Tobirama Senju of Uchiha Madara, that old guy. Uchiha Madara, he is crazy. The Uchiha clan members who have opened the Sharingan have psychological problems, including Uchiha Nan himself. From childhood, he practiced ninjutsu for killing people. He graduated at the age of 6 and became a ninja to perform tasks. He went to chop people with kunai. He chopped them so smoothly. How can there be no psychological problems? Those who have opened the kaleidoscope Sharingan are even more transformed into butterflies, becoming crazy people. It is really difficult to let the Uchiha people become Hokage. It is difficult to guarantee that one day the Uchiha will produce a real madman. With a snap of his head, he will come up with a wonderful idea and take Konoha on a road of no return. If someone tells Tobirama Senju that the Uchiha is planning a shocking plan, in order to save the world and maintain peace in the ninja world, they have come up with an unprecedented ninjutsu that can hang all the ninjas in the world on trees and let them have sweet dreams, so that the ninja world will have unprecedented peace. Then Tobirama Senju will seriously consider what this person said, and then quickly investigate the Uchiha thoroughly. After all, the Uchiha may really do this, who makes them all crazy. The normal path to becoming Hokage was blocked by Tobirama Senju, so Uchiha Nan only had one way left. That was to wait. Wait until Tobirama Senju died. Although Uchiha Nan had a trump card in his hand that could briefly contend with Tobirama Senju, the Kaleidoscope Sharingan experience card. But what if he had the Kaleidoscope Sharingan? Tobirama Senju had killed Uchiha Izuna, the owner of the Kaleidoscope Sharingan. He couldn't really expect his Uchiha clansmen to launch a coup with him. It would be more reliable to find a way to join Uchiha Madara hiding in a certain cave. At least Uchiha Madara didn't have racial discrimination. He equally discriminated against everyone who wasn't Hashirama. The Kaleidoscope Sharingan experience card, which he regarded as a treasure and was reluctant to use in several dangerous situations. Uchiha Nan didn't want to waste it on dealing with Tobirama Senju. No one knew how many kinds of forbidden techniques Tobirama Senju had researched specifically to deal with the Uchiha while he was alive. If he wanted to know, he could only have the opportunity to read the Book of Seals after becoming Hokage. But now, Uchiha Nan had finally made it through. After tonight, Tobirama Senju's body should be completely cold. Thinking of this, the haze in Uchiha Nan's heart caused by the unsuccessful card draw was swept away, and he couldn't help but feel happy. A wanton smile appeared on his face, which then turned into the Uchiha's ancestral maniacal laughter. Ha 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 ha. Jia jia jia. Cough cough cough. I choked on my saliva. Uchiha Nan coughed twice, and suddenly heard 2 meows. A black cat, with a completely black body, flipped in from the window. The black cat habitually jumped onto Uchiha Nan's bed, swept its tail twice, and after sitting down. Nan, the news has been found out. There really was an ambush in the negotiation between Konoha and this time's Raikage, and the result was just as you guessed. The second Hokage lured away the pursuers alone, and it's very likely that he is dead. The black cat licked the fur on its palm, changed its sleeping position, its belly lying on the soft mattress, its 4 feet lying like this. Uchiha Nan sat beside it and skillfully smoothed its fur. My news this time was obtained from Chi-Chi, and it took a lot of effort to pry it out of its mouth. Well done, Shao Manji. Manji is Uchiha Nan's summoned beast, and Chi-Chi is Uchiha Kagami's summoned beast. The Uchiha clan and the Nekomata clan have been friendly for generations. The ninja cats under Granny Cat often sign contracts with the Uchiha clan. Ninja cats are small in size and agile in action. They are good at gathering information and have special intelligence channels in the ninja world. After Uchiha Nan showed his talent in the ninja school, Granny Cat introduced Manji to sign a contract with Uchiha Nan. At that time, Manji was still a little guy. Over the years, Uchiha Nan has gone out of the village to perform missions, and Manji has fought with him several times. Uchiha Nan is very relieved to send Manji to gather information. How are you going to thank me? Manji made a gurgling sound in its mouth, with an expression of enjoyment on its face, very satisfied with the skills of the cat-stroking master, Uchiha Nan. 3 bottles of catnip. No, double it. Manji's tail moved, expressing dissatisfaction. No problem. Uchiha Nan was in a good mood. First took out a can of catnip from the drawer and threw it to Manji. The remaining 5 bottles, I will buy them for you tomorrow. Manji couldn't wait to open the catnip can, grabbed a handful, and took a big bite. It's this taste, the goods are very pure. Ah plus. Manji showed an extremely enjoyable expression, poured out all the catnip from the bottle, spread it on the bed, and rubbed it with its limbs spread out. Manji, remember to tell the ninja cats who have a good relationship with you to stay in Konoha these few days and gather information for me at any time. Manji? Manji? Manji's eyes were hollow, its tongue turned outwards, and its 2 paws mechanically stuffed catnip into its mouth. Obviously, it had already taken catnip and was high. Forget it, I can't count on Manji for the time being. Hiruzen Sarutobi and the others haven't returned yet, and Tobarama's death news hasn't been brought back yet. Let the bullets fly for a while. Sleep. A few days later, Hiruzen Sarutobi and his party hurriedly returned to Konoha, bringing back not good news of a ceasefire, but bad news that could shake the entire Konoha. The negotiations between Konoha and the Raikage broke down. The Raikage was ambushed and killed by his subordinates, the Gold and Silver brothers, and Tobarama Senju died in battle. Senju clan land. Tobarama, he's dead? How is it possible? How could Tobarama die? Mito Uzumaki, who had just received the news, had a blank expression on her face, at a loss, and had not yet reacted from this bolt from the blue. She really couldn't imagine that her little uncle Tobarama would die. In Mito's memory, Tobarama was always so calm, resourceful, and managed Konoha in an orderly manner after Hashirama's death. His strength was also top-notch in the ninja world. He didn't die in the chaotic Warring States period, but sacrificed himself in a ceasefire agreement, which made Mito Uzumaki unable to believe this reality. Mito Uzumaki's eyes looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi, expecting Hiruzen Sarutobi to say something, but reality was still reality. Hiruzen Sarutobi could only remain silent, not daring to speak, for fear of irritating Mito Uzumaki. Tears flowed from the corners of Mito Uzumaki's eyes, but then Mito immediately wiped away the tears, and her eyes looked sharply at Hiruzen Sarutobi. Tell me what happened from beginning to end, and don't miss a single word. Mito Uzumaki's tone was icy cold, and because of her emotional instability, the chakra in her body came out with her words. The Uzumaki clan's chakra was already thick, and coupled with Mito being the 9 tails Jinchuriki, the chakra fluctuations she emitted made Hiruzen Sarutobi and others unable to breathe. Konoha had just finished a great war. The First Ninja World War lasted for 8 full years. 8 years of war, Konoha, even though it was strong, after 8 years of consumption, even as powerful as Konoha, it was also badly injured. At this critical juncture, the village's shadow died, and if the situation was not handled well, Konoha was likely to disintegrate. Yes, Lady Mito. Hiruzen Sarutobi repeatedly said yes, and recounted the process of the second-generation Hokage Tobarama Senju and the second-generation Raikage's negotiations being ambushed by the Gold and Silver Brothers, and then being chased by the elite troops led by the Gold and Silver Brothers. In the end, Tobarama Senju sacrificed himself to act as a bait, covering their group's breakout. From beginning to end, Hiruzen Sarutobi said it all. In the end, of course, Hiruzen Sarutobi did not forget to mention that Tobarama appointed himself as the third-generation Hokage before his death. In the middle, Mito Uzumaki interrupted several times, specifically asking about the details, and asked Hiruzen Sarutobi to repeat it several times, and everyone else present also said it several times. Coupled with the Nine Tails' special emotional perception ability, Mito Uzumaki finally came to the conclusion that Hiruzen Sarutobi and the others did not lie. Mito Uzumaki looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi with a complicated expression, and for the first time doubted Tobarama's judgment. Were these few little cubs in front of her really worth Tobarama sacrificing himself? And this Hiruzen Sarutobi in front of her, is he worthy of the position of Hokage? Mito Uzumaki's eyes stared at Hiruzen Sarutobi for a long time. Sensing Mito Uzumaki's gaze, Hiruzen Sarutobi felt a chill down his spine. Mito Uzumaki swept her gaze over Hiruzen Sarutobi and the others and then issued orders. You must be exhausted from escaping all the way, and you are also injured. The Senju clan has specialized medical ninjas. I will have the medical ninjas help you treat your injuries later, so go down and rest first. Also, stay in the Senju clan these few days and don't go anywhere. Tobarama's death is not allowed to be spread for the time being. You must not say anything when anyone asks you, understand? Hiruzen Sarutobi and the others looked at each other, not knowing what Mito Uzumaki wanted to do. Concealing the news of the Hokage's death and then placing them under house arrest? Hiruzen Sarutobi felt bitter in his heart. His identity as the Hokage's heir was really a hot potato now. If he obediently followed Mito Uzumaki's instructions and stayed in the Senju clan, what if he physically disappeared? Mito Uzumaki's identity was not as simple as being the widow of the first Hokage. She was a high-level combatant of the Uzumaki clan during the Warring States period, a red rose who had emerged from a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. If Hiruzen Sarutobi really regarded Mito Uzumaki as a vase, then he would have lived his life in vain. Even his own life was now in Mito Uzumaki's hands. Perhaps there were a dozen elite ninjas of the Senju hidden outside the door, and Mito Uzumaki could capture them all with a single order. Lady Mito, Danzo twisted and turned, intending to speak. After all, he was not a fool. If he continued to stay here, in case Mito Uzumaki did something unfriendly to them, they would not even have a chance to escape. Danzo, Lady Mito has already made arrangements, so he can stay here with peace of mind. Hiruzen Sarutobi gave Danzo a look and readily agreed to Mito Uzumaki's request. Hiruzen Sarutobi did not have much contact with Mito Uzumaki. Every time he met her, it was when he was by his teacher Tobarama Senju's side. Hiruzen Sarutobi could see Tobarama Senju's attitude towards Mito Uzumaki. That was respect. He could distrust Mito Uzumaki, but Hiruzen Sarutobi would trust his teacher, Tobarama Senju. Since his teacher chose him to become the Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi dared to bet his life that he believed that Mito Uzumaki, whom his teacher respected so much on weekdays, would not go against his teacher's wishes and attack him. This monkey is quite sensible. Then go out, and someone will take you to your resting place after you go out. Mito Uzumaki said lightly. After Hiruzen Sarutobi and the others went out, Senju Momoki, who was guarding the door, came in. He now had a bad guess in his heart. The Shadow Guard team had returned, all of them listless and their bodies tattered, looking like they had been defeated. Where was their clan head, Tobarama Senju? Could it be that clan head Tobarama was dead? Clan head Sama. Senju Momoki was uneasy and tentatively asked Mito Uzumaki. Go. Set the barrier seal of Konoha to wartime status. Take my warrant and have the Anbu impose martial law throughout the village. Now send out all the remaining ninjas in the family to monitor the ninja clans currently in Konoha. If there is any abnormal behavior, report it to me immediately, especially the Uchiha. Also, send someone to notify Momoki and tell him to return from the front line immediately. Mito Uzumaki's series of orders made Senju Momoki's brain freeze. Was someone attacking Konoha's doorstep, or was the Uchiha planning a rebellion? Even the young clan head of the Senju clan, Senju Momoki, was transferred back from the front line. Hashirama's son, whose name was not even left in the original work, was made up by myself. At this time, Nawaki was not yet born, and he should still be alive. Lady Mito? What exactly happened? Could it be that the clan head Don't go yet. Mito Uzumaki's tone was full of coldness, which made Senju Momoki shudder. He had said too much today. Yes, Lady Mito. Senju Momoki quickly walked out of the gate to carry out Mito Uzumaki's orders. Only Mito Uzumaki was left alone in the room. Mito Uzumaki sat back in the chair, her whole person's energy instantly depleted, completely losing the composure she had just now. Ha ha ha, Mito, that bastard Hashirama's brother is also dead. It seems that the destruction of Konoha established by Hashirama is not far away. A gloating voice sounded from the bottom of Mito Uzumaki's heart. Inside Mito Uzumaki's sealed space, a huge fox sat in it. Its 9 tails were firmly locked by chains, unable to move. The 9 tails laughed wildly, causing the chains to make a rattling sound. The harsh sound echoed in Mito Uzumaki's mind. This is retribution, Mito. Imprisoned me for so many years, so what? Is the ninja world at peace? Everything outside, the 9 tails could perceive, naturally including Mito Uzumaki's current emotions. Sadness, despair, pain, all kinds of negative emotions, the 9 tails clearly felt, but the 9 tails would not sympathize, only ridicule wantonly. HMPH, Demon Fox. Konoha will not perish, and Hashirama's efforts will not be in vain. Now I will protect Konoha. Mito Uzumaki's heart moved, and several huge chains appeared out of thin air, trapping the 9 tails' mouth and tying its body into a twist. Mito, you. After dealing with the 9 tails, Mito's mood improved a lot, and she regained her calm appearance, muttering in her mouth. With me here, Konoha will not be overturned. Konoha Police Department. Uchiha Nan sat in the room that belonged to the captain alone. The police department was set up with 3 captains, and each captain had his own room. The remaining 2 captains had now rotated to the front line to garrison, leaving only Uchiha Nan to guard the Uchiha's base camp, responsible for taking care of the entire Uchiha clan. After 16 years of struggle, Uchiha Nan had become a high-level member of the Uchiha clan. Apart from the clan head Uchiha Fugaku, Uchiha Nan was now the second in command of the Uchiha clan in Konoha. Uchiha Nan possessed the 3-tomo Sharingan, his mastery of lightning release was superb, and he had independently developed the lightning release Chidori, turned by the turntable. He was proficient in various fire release techniques within the clan, and his swordsmanship was also quite good, turned by the turntable. He had a tie with the Konoha genius Hitaki Sakumo in a swordplay duel. Uchiha Nan, with his own efforts, the hard work of more than 10 years of lottery draws, enjoyed great prestige within the Uchiha clan. Pa-ji. Uchiha Nan's door was pushed open by Manji, and Manji gently leapt and jumped into Uchiha Nan's arms. Nan, Hiruzen Sarutobi and the others have returned, and not long ago they walked towards the Senju clan's territory. After entering the Senju clan's territory, they never came out again. And now the entire Senju clan has been mobilized. The ninjas in the Senju clan are scattered in all directions of Konoha, and some of them should be near the Uchiha clan's territory now. And the ninjas of the Anbu have also been dispatched, scattered in various places in Konoha. Some of them are very strong, and the ninja cats dare not get too close for fear of alerting them. Some have withdrawn, and some can only watch from a distance. It won't take long. I'm afraid that even the vicinity of the police department will have ninjas from the Anbu or the Senju clan. Uchiha Nan's hands skillfully stroked Manji, and he did not feel worried because of Mito Uzumaki's actions. Come on, meeting. Since Mito Uzumaki had moved, then he, Uchiha Nan, naturally could not sit here doing nothing. Captain, everyone is here. Uchiha Tekka was followed by more than a dozen Uchiha clansmen. These were all the ninjas on duty at the Uchiha Police Department today. At this time of the day, most of them would still need to patrol the commercial streets, snack streets, and other places in Konoha. Even though the Ninja World War had been fought for 8 years, the lives of ordinary people in Konoha were not greatly affected. Fighting to the death was a matter for the ninja adults. What did it have to do with ordinary civilians? The 5 major ninja villages had a tacit understanding on this point. But those small ninja villages were not so law-abiding. If they couldn't make a living, they would forcibly seize the property of civilians in the village. Some ninjas in small ninja villages even defected from the village directly to avoid the combat missions assigned by the village, choosing to become a wandering ninja, just relying on the fact that the small ninja village did not have enough ability to pursue and kill them. This led the civilians of small ninja villages to start fleeing to the 5 major ninja villages in a targeted manner, and the most suitable place to settle down was naturally Konoha. Relative to the decrease in the number of Konoha ninjas, the population of ordinary civilians in Konoha, after experiencing the First Ninja World War, did not decrease but increased. This made Konoha's commerce more developed, leading the workload of the Uchiha Police Department to remain heavy. When there are many people, there are more strange things of all kinds. Petty theft is endless, and this requires the police department to solve it. Not only that, those who come to Konoha are not only ordinary civilians, but also spies from various major ninja villages lurking among them. The Uchiha Police Department also cooperates with the Anbu under the Hokage to secretly deal with spies. Captain, what's the matter? You have to call all the duty personnel over, these days are too busy. Yes, Captain, what about the expansion of our police department? The adults of Hokage have not given a statement, and now there are not enough people at all. We need to draw some ordinary people from the family. Anyway, they are all managing civilians, not necessarily ninjas. Uchiha Inari stood behind Uchiha Tekka and complained. He and Tekka were twins, and they were in the same team with Uchiha Nan on the battlefield. The two of them were not ninjas within the Konoha establishment, and did not have a name in the village. They were ninjas trained within the family, belonging to the Uchiha's private army. The duration of the First Ninja World War was as long as 8 years, and even some of the private troops within the family were transferred to the battlefield. These two brothers had a very good relationship with Uchiha Nan. After all, they had been on the battlefield together, and Uchiha Nan had saved Inari's younger brother Inari's life. As soon as he entered the door, Inari began to complain about the recent series of troubles. Captain, I really don't want to retreat from the front line. It's better for me to fight on the battlefield than to deal with some trivial matters every day. Captain? Uchiha Nan didn't speak, just kept staring at Inari. Uchiha Nan's eyes made Uchiha Inari feel scared. The last time the captain was so serious was when they were blocked in a stone cave by more than a dozen upper ninjas from Yunyan village. If it wasn't for the captain's sudden explosion and killing everyone, their lives would have been left there. Captain, I didn't say anything wrong, did I? Uchiha Inari smiled, while giving his brother Tekka a look. Inari, shut your mouth. The captain hasn't spoken yet, and you're the only one who keeps talking. Tekka knocked on Inari's head with his hand, then turned his head to Uchiha Nan, waiting for Uchiha Nan to speak. The other Uchiha clansmen, seeing Inari shut up, also sensibly closed their mouths. Although Uchiha Nan had always shown himself to be friendly in the clan, and was gentle to everyone, after all, when he crossed over, he also received 9 years of compulsory education under the red flag. Every day, he just silently accumulated character to draw the turntable and make himself stronger, but no one dared to touch Uchiha Nan's bad luck. Uchiha Nan was a tough guy on the battlefield, with lightning all over his body. The hidden blade in the brilliant lightning, in an instant, the enemy's head had already fallen to the ground. Uchiha Nan's position as the captain of the police department was not exchanged for by nepotism, but was promoted from battlefield military exploits. Obviously, the Uchiha present all felt that Captain Uchiha Nan's attitude was unusual today. Inari, you just complained that Lord Hokage has been slow to expand the police department's establishment? Uchiha Nan let go of manji in his hand, stood up and moved his body, then looked at Uchiha Inari and said, "Is there anything wrong with what I said?" Uchiha Inari touched his head. The one just now from his brother Tekka was quite painful. Humph, Uchiha Nan sneered. The expansion of the Uchiha Police Department's establishment may be delayed for a while. Lord Hokage has no chance to agree. Just now I got news that Lord Hokage has already died in the negotiation with the Raikage. Uchiha Nan's words were like a heavy hammer hitting the heads of the Uchiha present, and everyone's heads were dizzy. Captain? You're not kidding, Lord Hokage is dead? Still dead at the negotiation? Uchiha Tekka's tone was unbelievable, and he felt a kind of absurdity about Tobirama Senju's death. This adult is famously cunning. The old people in the clan who have lived from the Warring States period, when they usually cursed Tobirama, would add words like cunning, dark-hearted, and a bad seed with a belly full of conspiracies and tricks. Even more pessimistic old people have said that Tobirama, that cunning fellow, is probably more able to live than me. The Uchiha don't seem to have a chance in decades. No one in the clan can fight with Tobirama, that dark-hearted bastard. Heaven does not bless my Uchiha clan. Tekka, who had been taught by the clan's seniors since he was a child, had heard too many of these words. Among those old people who survived from the Warring States period, some had deep-seated hatred for Tobirama and were forced to only be able to curse him verbally. But even in verbal curses, they maintained a high degree of unity on the matter of Tobirama being able to live. Is this kind of thing a joke? Uchiha Nan looked at Uchiha Tekka seriously and said, according to the information I received, the Gold and Silver brothers under the Second Raikage launched a coup and ambushed the Second Raikage and Lord Tobirama at the negotiating table. The Second Raikage died, Lord Tobirama was seriously injured, and led the Shadow Guards to be chased by the elite troops of the Gold and Silver brothers. Finally, in order to cover the Shadow Guards' escape, he alone lured away the chasing troops until he died in battle. Uchiha Nan briefly explained the course of the matter, and Uchiha Tekka felt his head swell. If the person in front of him was not Uchiha Nan, Uchiha Tekka would have wanted to slap him. What nonsense are you making up here? What is it called, the Hokage covering the Shadow Guards? Which family's Shadow Guards would let the shadow of a village cover their own escape? Just surviving like this is not enough to be ashamed of. Captain, this joke is not funny. The duty of the Shadow Guards is to protect the shadow with their lives. Even if all the Shadow Guards are dead, the shadow cannot die. How can there be a reason for the shadow to sacrifice himself to protect the Shadow Guards? Inari was not as steady as his brother Tekka, and he spoke frankly. The death of the Hokage Tobirama Senju was already very magical, and this way of death was simply appalling. Inari, you must understand that stories need logic, but reality is often absurd. The crowd looked at Uchiha Nan, who had a serious expression on his face, and instinctively felt that Uchiha Nan was talking nonsense, and was just teasing them when he was bored. But in the end, they still chose to believe Uchiha Nan. Uchiha Nan's identity did not allow him to talk nonsense in the police department, fabricating the story of the Hokage's death. Uchiha Tekka suddenly remembered something, and a strange fire in his heart began to burn. Captain, since the second Hokage has fallen, has the candidate for the third Hokage been decided? Uchiha Tekka's simple sentence was like a spark meeting dry wood, and flames ignited in the hearts of every Uchiha present. The second Hokage was dead, so who was the third Hokage? Could it still be a Senju? The Uchiha were also the founders of Konoha. Even if the old ancestor Uchiha Madara defected, the contribution to the founding of Konoha cannot be erased. The Senju have produced two Hokage, so this time it should be the Uchiha's turn. The breathing of the Uchiha people present began to intensify, and the captain in front of them was the first to receive the information about the Hokage's death, and then so eagerly gathered them together. Could it be that he had any ideas about the position of Hokage? You must know that there is still a patriarch Uchiha Fugaku above Uchiha Nan. Uchiha Nan's strength is beyond doubt, and he has already proved himself on the battlefield. Even the patriarch Uchiha Fugaku may not be able to defeat him. It is not uncommon to want to become Hokage by surpassing Patriarch Fugaku. Which young man in Konoha does not have a Hokage dream? What's more, the Uchiha's internal folk customs are simple and honest, and what they pay attention to is the able ones go up, and the mediocre ones go down. Whoever has the bigger fist has the right to speak. In any case, the position of the third Hokage must first rot in the Uchiha's pot. It's settled. Uchiha Nan's simple 4 words were like a basin of cold water extinguishing the flames in everyone's hearts. It's still the Uchiha clan? Now there are only two people in the Senju clan who have the ability to convince the crowd. One is Mito Uzumaki, the widow of the first Hokage. Although she has been living in the village and does not show her mountains or dew, no one dares to underestimate her. The other is Senju Momoka, the son of the first Hokage, a red and authentic seedling, and his strength is also one of the best in Konoha. It's bad, the captain doesn't want to launch a coup, does he? A terrible idea popped into Uchiha Tekka's mind. If the captain wanted to launch a coup, then he had to stop him. He couldn't let the captain sacrifice himself in vain. Who is it? Lord Mito, or Lord Momoka? This is too unfair. The Senju family has already produced two Hokage, and it's our Uchiha family's turn. Uchiha Tekka was thinking about Uchiha Nan's thoughts, and Uchiha Inari couldn't help but complain. Neither, it's Hiruzen Sarutobi. The captain is joking again. This thought flashed through everyone's minds at the same time. Who? Captain, I now suspect that you are teasing us from beginning to end. Otherwise, it's really impossible. Go to the family to see a doctor. You are the pillar of our Uchiha clan. Your brain can't have problems. Uchiha Inari's words didn't even go through his brain, and he said it directly, making Uchiha Nan a little angry. I am so serious discussing matters with you, and Uchiha Inari thinks that his head is sick. Does he think that I gave you too many smiles, and your skin is itchy again? Uchiha Nan looked around at everyone, and found that the Uchiha present agreed with Uchiha Inari's view, and even one or two showed sympathetic eyes to Uchiha Nan. So Uchiha Nan turned his head, took out the ninja sword he used in battle, and looked at Uchiha Inari with a smile. Inari, I see that your skin is tight again. I am so serious discussing the important affairs of the Uchiha's future with you. Do you think I have a brain problem? After the meeting, let's find a place to practice alone. I will definitely beat you to see the medical ninjas in the family. Uchiha Inari looked at Uchiha Nan, who had a fierce look in his eyes, and took a few steps back in fear, then touched his brother Uchiha Tekka with his arm, signaling him to save him again. If the captain really seriously beats himself, wouldn't he have to lie in bed for 10 days and a half months? Uchiha Tekka helplessly glanced at his stupid brother. Why do you say anything without going through your brain? Captain, don't be as knowledgeable as him, he's just like that. Captain, what you just said about the second Hokage's designated Hokage heir is Hiruzen Sarutobi, is this true? While hoping to smooth things over, Uchiha Tekka once again confirmed to Uchiha Nan the truth of the matter that Hiruzen Sarutobi was about to become the third Hokage. Of course it's true, I have been very serious with you today at the meeting. Uchiha Nan sighed in his heart. Tobirama Senju's magical operation before his death was really too heaven-defying, which made him tell the truth like telling a cold joke. Hiruzen Sarutobi, what is he? Inari can beat him 3 times, and he deserves to be the Hokage? If he can be the Hokage, Inari will be the first to refuse. Uchiha Inari was the first to stand up. If Lord Tobirama appointed Lord Mito or Lord Momoka as the third-generation Hokage of Konoha, the Uchiha and Senju would bargain a bit, and ask for more benefits in the village, and they could still pinch their noses and admit it. What is Hiruzen Sarutobi, and what is the Sarutobi clan behind him? In the Warring States period, it was just a small family attached to the Senju family. In the Warring States period, the Uchiha had the ability to destroy the Sarutobi clan at any time if they were unhappy. Now they still want to climb on the head of the Uchiha. There is a Senju on the head, and the Uchiha are already very upset, and adding a Sarutobi, will the Uchiha still survive? The Uchiha are not a small family, but a ninja clan with 1,000 years of inheritance, and they have to have face. Well, Inari, what you said is still human. Uchiha Nan glanced at Inari, and showed a satisfied expression. If you like to talk, you should talk more at this time. Yes, we Uchiha refuse. I don't believe that the Senju family can be convinced, and let Hiruzen Sarutobi, this cowardly and fearful guy, be the Hokage. As a shadow guard, if you can't even protect the Hokage, what qualifications do you have to be the Hokage? For a time, the room was chattering non-stop, and the originally quiet Uchiha boiled up. In the eyes of the Uchiha, those who can serve as the Hokage of Konoha are either from the Senju family or from the Uchiha family, and the others are not qualified. Uchiha Police Department. Inside the room, Uchiha Nan looked at the excited Uchiha crowd, and a satisfied smile appeared on his face. Quiet. Uchiha Nan waved his hand, signaling everyone to be quiet, and the Uchiha people under his command quickly closed their mouths. The Uchiha present stared at Uchiha Nan. The captain was the first to get the news and immediately gathered them together. It was impossible for him to obediently accept a Hiruzen Sarutobi becoming the third Hokage of Konoha. Uchiha Nan looked at everyone and said, "In the beginning, it was the Uchiha and the Senju who jointly created the Konoha village. The first Hokage was unparalleled in combat power and could suppress the villains of the ninja world with his own hands. The second Hokage was full of wisdom, and all kinds of forbidden techniques were readily available. These two becoming the Hokage of Konoha is well deserved." Speaking of this, Uchiha Nan let out a sneer. But what is that Hiruzen Sarutobi? Bearing the mission of guarding Lord Tobirama, he finally abandoned the shadow of Konoha and fled back to Konoha in disgrace like a lost dog. Bringing back Lord Tobirama's last words, he shamelessly wanted to become the third-generation Hokage of Konoha. This ridiculous idea, do you agree? No. The Uchiha people answered unison. This kind of person becoming the shadow of Konoha is simply a disgrace to Konoha. Very good, I don't agree either. Uchiha Nan nodded. The Hokage plot in his previous life was arranged like this. There is no doubt that it was Kishimoto, the old man, who was having a seizure when he drew comics. But in the real Naruto world, there is only Mito Uzumaki who can support the situation, resist all opinions, and rely on her own powerful strength and prestige to forcefully suppress the families of Konoha to accept this fact like a pile of stinky shit. It is also ridiculous to say that Mito Uzumaki did not let her son become the Hokage but insisted on choosing Hiruzen Sarutobi. If you don't know people clearly, it's no wonder that the Senju clan, the Uzumaki clan, will eventually die and be exterminated, and even eventually lead the Uchiha clan to be exterminated. When you dream back at midnight, aren't you afraid of those clansmen who shouldn't have died, coming to her to demand her life? Tekka, you take your team to the area under your jurisdiction and spread the news that the Shadow Guards abandoned the Hokage and fled alone. Inari, you take your team to your area and spread the news that the Shadow Guards colluded with the Raikage to kill the Hokage. Temoki, Uchiha Nan fabricated a lot of news in one breath and spread the real information and the false information together, coupled with the rumors of the masses. Uchiha Nan didn't dare to imagine what the final version spread in Konoha would look like. The Uchiha people under his command looked at Uchiha Nan's operation and were stunned. Can they still play like this? This is going to force the Shadow Guards who escaped back to death. Once these news spread, not to mention whether Hiruzen Sarutobi can inherit the position of Hokage, it is not bad to be able to save his life. Captain, Gao, it's really Gao. You are even more insidious than Lord Tobirama. Inari didn't even think about it, and the words came out directly. As soon as he finished speaking, Inari regretted it and looked at Uchiha Nan in horror. No, Captain, I don't mean that. I'm praising you. Wit, that's right, wit. Uchiha Nan now really wants to give Uchiha Inari a punch. Inari, if you can't speak, you can actually keep your mouth shut. Am I being treacherous? This is called strategy. Don't you understand what a public opinion offensive is? Uchiha Nan looked at Uchiha Inari and showed a standard smile. The smile that was not a smile made Uchiha Inari feel cold. I know, I understand what you mean. After the matter is completed, remember to come to my house to find me, and I will test how your recent cultivation is going. Don't, Captain, I was wrong. Brother, you speak up. Help me say a few words. Uchiha Inari was very anxious, expecting his brother Tekka to save the situation. Uchiha Tekka decisively moved away from Uchiha Inari a few steps. This stupid brother is completely out of control. Every time he hits the captain's muzzle, it seems that he really owes a lesson. He can't attract the captain's anger to himself. The captain alone is more than enough to beat the two of them. Inari, shut up. Now go and execute the order, and remember to come to me when you're done. Don't let me come to you. Uchiha Nan gave Uchiha Inari a fierce look, waved his hand to dismiss the guests, and he wanted to be alone for a while. After speaking, everyone sensibly walked out of the room to carry out Uchiha Nan's orders. Not long after, the Uchiha police team was active in every corner of Konoha with a large population. Every prosperous street corner had a shop opened by the Uchiha family, and the surrounding land might be owned by the Uchiha family. It is not an easy task to support such a huge family with so many Uchiha people. The food, clothing, housing, and transportation of the clansmen can be solved by themselves, but cultivation is different. Ninja tools, ninjutsu cultivation, and all kinds of cultivation secret medicines are not something that ordinary Uchiha clansmen can afford. D-level missions, each time about 500 to 1000 taels, are not dangerous and are usually done by genin. In C-level missions, the money earned is slightly higher, ranging from 2,000 to 10,000 taels, but they are usually accompanied by some dangers, such as subjugating bandits. In peacetime, in order to ensure safety, the village often assigns a chunin as a bodyguard. Of course, the chunin will take half of the commission. B-level missions, the risk factor of this type of mission has increased, and the opponent can only be chunin or above. They are usually also responsible for escorting and other tasks. Only missions that can be participated in by chunin or above. The lowest level of ninjas of this level must also be chunin or above. The reward amount is also relatively high, between 50,000 and 150,000 taels. A-level missions. This level of missions are basically war-type missions, helping other countries or villages to solve problems, or crusade wars, etc. This level basically requires fighting with the strong, so the reward amount is also between 150,000 and 1 million taels, and the span is relatively large, depending on the strength of the opponent. Ordinary ninjas can generally only come into contact with missions up to level B, and each time they perform missions, they are completed in teams. The completion time is also not fixed. It may take a few days, 10 days, or even a few months. The average ninja's salary is not bad at 4 or 50,000 taels per month. A fine iron kunai is 2,000 taels, a shuriken is 2,500 taels, and an explosive tag is 5,000 taels. Apart from food, clothing, housing, and transportation, there are very few dollars left for cultivation, buying ninja tools, and buying secret medicines. Many middle and lower ninjas spend all their savings to equip themselves with a set of armor, a few kunai shurikens, plus 2 or 3 explosive tags. At this time, the family has to stand up and subsidize all kinds of money needed for cultivation for free. The number of civilian ninjas in the entire Konoha is now less than 1/3, and the backbone of Konoha is still those ninja clans. The Uchiha of the police team, every time they enter a store, the store will get a message, and the shop assistant will intentionally or unintentionally spread the message during the transaction. In just one afternoon, the news of the death of Hokage Tobirama Senju had spread throughout the entire Konoha. The news of the shadow guards abandoning the Hokage and running back to Konoha has become varied. The version that has been circulating for decades and is most widely spread is that Tobirama Senju and Hiruzen Sarutobi have a forbidden love. Hiruzen Sarutobi has been selling his ass to Tobirama for many years and eventually became Tobirama's disciple, so that Tobirama risked his life to protect Hiruzen. Tsunade walked listlessly down the streets of Konoha, followed by 2 young men. The girl's smooth and shiny high ponytail, which was usually smooth and shiny, became a little messy and dulled today. Her eyes were filled with tears, and the occasional sob showed that the little princess of Konoha was in a terrible mood. Jiraiya dragged his head, watching his sweetheart's sad appearance, not daring to step forward but could only silently follow behind Tsunade to express his attitude. Orochimaru's complexion was paler than usual. He could very well understand Tsunade's mood at the moment. His parents also died in this cruel war. Orochimaru, who was more meticulous than ordinary people, understood that Tsunade not only needed comfort now but also needed company. But the comfort he had learnt was only a few words, far less eloquent than Jiraiya. It was a pity that Jiraiya was now behaving like a coward. When it was time to work hard, he acted like a shrinking turtle. Then he should be the same as Jiraiya, just follow Tsunade like this. A companion, he has always been there. Orochimaru thought this, and suddenly Tsunade turned her head, revealing a difficult smile, her eyes almost overflowing with tears. Her appearance of enduring grief was pitiful. Jiraiya looked at Tsunade's smile, which was even worse than crying, and finally couldn't help but step forward to comfort her. Tsunade, you know, the villagers have always liked to talk nonsense. Lord Hokage is so powerful, he will definitely not die. The word, die, in Jiraiya's mouth had not yet been spoken and was interrupted by Tsunade. The current Tsunade was very afraid of hearing this word. Second Grandpa is the Hokage. Even Grandpa is usually afraid of him. He is so powerful, he will definitely be fine. He knows so many forbidden techniques, water release, fire release. Tsunade sobbed and said a lot, seeming to want to prove something, but soon she couldn't hold on, and tears poured out like a collapsed dam. She hurriedly said, "See you tomorrow," and ran towards her home without looking back. The girl's self-esteem supported her so that she could not show a cowardly side in front of her companions. She was the granddaughter of the Hokage. Before long, Tsunade had disappeared from the sight of Jiraiya and Orochimaru. "Jiraiya, why didn't you say something before?" Orochimaru looked at the lost Jiraiya and couldn't help but have the thought of being angry at his incompetence. Jiraiya, who had asked himself to play the villain and wanted to be a hero to save the beauty, behaved like a log at such a critical moment. Jiraiya couldn't speak. Just now he really wanted to say something and do something, but he didn't know why. He was as if he had lost his soul. Tch, waste. Orochimaru sneered, cursed in his heart, then turned and ignored Jiraiya, walking in his own direction. On the street, only Jiraiya's figure remained. In the afterglow of the setting sun, his shadow was stretched very long. He was stunned for a while before recovering from the previous failure. Jiraiya walked back home alone. His head was like a mess of hemp, and all kinds of comforting words now popped up one after another. Unfortunately, it's useless now. Senju clan land. Tsunade sobbed, passing through the gate of the Senju clan land with a whoosh, impatiently wanting to run to her grandmother, Mito Uzumaki. Grandmother Mito Uzumaki must know about second grandpa. As soon as Tsunade entered the door, she saw a familiar touch of red. Mito was sitting at the table, and the table was filled with food. "Grandma, Grandma." The people in the village said that second grandpa he. Tears flowed wantonly on Tsunade's face, and she sobbed and rushed into Mito Uzumaki's arms. Mito Uzumaki hugged Tsunade and gently patted her back. A burst of sadness welled up in her heart, tears flickering in her eyes, and several thoughts flashed through her mind. The news of Tobirama's death leaked out so quickly? Who is it? Hiruzen Sarutobi, Danzo Shimura, Kagami Uchiha? Several people's faces flashed through Mito Uzumaki's mind. The biggest idea among them was naturally that her granddaughter was so pitiful. Is second grandpa really dead? Tsunade raised her tearful little face and looked to Mito Uzumaki for an answer. Mito Uzumaki looked at the tearful Tsunade and really wanted to say that Tobirama Senju was fine, and those were just rumors. But she couldn't. The truth was a fire, and the lie was a piece of paper. How could paper cover the flame? Lies could not hide from Tsunade at all. Deciding Tsunade now would only bring greater harm in the future. A long pain is worse than a short one. Mito Uzumaki looked at her granddaughter with heartache, and thousands of words flashed through her mind, and finally she slowly said, "Tsunade, you are the granddaughter of the Hokage. Do you still remember what Grandpa and second Grandpa told you before? Be strong at all times. Grandma will always be with you." After Mito Uzumaki finished speaking, Tsunade widened her eyes, her hanging heart finally died, and she let out a louder cry, and tears could not stop flowing. Mito Uzumaki had no choice but to gently comfort Tsunade. The sun set, and the moon appeared in the sky above Konoha. The bright moonlight sprinkled on the streets of Konoha, but it could not reflect a few figures. The streets that used to be lively until late at night today only had a few sparse people. In just one afternoon, under the hard work of the Uchiha people, the death of Tobirama Senju had spread like a virus, covering the entire Konoha at an unprecedented speed. Konoha's shadow was dead, leading them to win the First Ninja World War, and he died at the border negotiations on the eve of gaining a peaceful life. Where do they have the mood to enjoy themselves? Will the future Konoha be as peaceful and prosperous as in the past? The villagers closed their doors early with grief and confusion about the future. Inside the room, time passed bit by bit, and Tsunade's voice became smaller and smaller. After a long time of crying, Tsunade finally became exhausted and fell into a dream with sadness. The remaining tear marks determined that Tsunade's dream would not be happy. Mito Uzumaki tiptoed and moved Tsunade to the bed, then covered her with the quilt. Her movements were very careful, for fear of waking Tsunade. Mito Uzumaki looked at Tsunade in her sleep and sighed. As a ninja, life and death parting is already the norm, but life will continue, just like the sun rises every day. Tsunade, you have to become stronger. Mito Uzumaki murmured softly, then walked out of the room, found a basin, washed her face, and just now she also cried for a long time. Now she has more important things to do than cry. The future of Konoha is now on her shoulders. Senju Momoki. Mito Uzumaki gave an order, calling Senju Momoki, her expression as if an ancient well, calm and unperturbed. Senju Momoki was already nearby, waiting for Mito Uzumaki's orders. The crying in the house was noisy all night, and Senju Momoki dared not drop the chain at this time. Go and call those little cubs over. Yes, Hiruzen, Lady Mito, is there anything happening that you called us over so late? Danzo Shimura walked beside Hiruzen Sarutobi, muttering softly, looking at the moon hanging high in the sky, which was just now very bright, but now it was covered by dark clouds. A dark and windy night is a good time to kill and set fire. For some reason, Danzo Shimura felt a chill, and the way the Senju clansmen looked at him made him feel extremely uncomfortable. Danzo Shimura was in a rather complicated mood at the moment, but his good buddy Hiruzen Sarutobi looked calm and composed. If it is a blessing, it is not a disaster, and if it is a disaster, it cannot be avoided. Hiruzen Sarutobi said lightly, people are the knife and I am the fish. They have already reached this point, what else can they do? It's just death, anyway. Hiruzen Sarutobi is not afraid of death, but it's just a pity that he didn't complete the teacher's last wish. Hiruzen Sarutobi quickened his pace, and Danzo Shimura hurriedly followed when he saw Hiruzen Sarutobi's speed increase. Inside the room, Konoha, Mito Uzumaki, Kagami Uchiha, and Torifu Akamichi were a little faster than the two of them, and had already arrived at Mito Uzumaki's room. Standing in front of the door, Hiruzen Sarutobi saw two Senju clan upper ninjas standing beside Mito Uzumaki. Senju Muha and Senju Muki, these two ninjas, they had already known each other, were the upper ninjas of the Senju clan. There were also two rows of Senju clan ninjas standing in the door, as if they were waiting for the two of them for a three-way trial. Such a big scene made Hiruzen Sarutobi and Danzo Shimura feel frightened. If the following scene is not handled well, the trees planted in the Senju family's courtyard are estimated to grow even more luxuriant. Konoha, Mito Uzumaki and the others, when they saw Hiruzen Sarutobi and Danzo Shimura finally arrived, they showed a wry smile to them. Their eyes were even more relieved. Just now, the two of them stood here, looking at the ninjas of the Senju family around them. The taste was too uncomfortable. Mito Uzumaki, who was sitting in the hall, did not say a word, and there was no expression on her face. Except for looking at Kagami Uchiha at the beginning, she never looked at them again, and then sat on the chair, just slowly drinking tea. Mito Uzumaki and Konoha knew their status very well. They were like duckweed without roots, and they could be manipulated as they wanted. The family power behind them was not threatening at all. In the arrogant bloodstained families and secret technique families in Konoha, they were like little transparent people. No one would care about them and the thoughts of the families behind them. If they die, they will die. Who in the huge Konoha dares to say anything? Torifu Akamichi and Kagami Uchiha were different. One was the son of the head of the Akamichi clan in the Butterfly clan, the future Konoha pig, deer and butterfly combination. Kagami Uchiha was a genius of the Uchiha clan. Not only was he the darling of the Uchiha, but his ability to join Tobirama Senju's name was more to maintain the relationship between the Hokage and the Uchiha, and had an extraordinary political significance. How can these two say that they are safe and sound? Before, the Senju family's ninjas had been staring at the few of them, under the dual burden of psychological pressure and the danger of death. Mito Uzumaki and Konoha always felt that they were staring at the two of them, because they were the easiest to bully. And Mito Uzumaki kept silent, only drinking tea, obviously waiting for someone, waiting for Hiruzen Sarutobi and Danzo Shimura. No, they were waiting for Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third-generation Hokage appointed by his teacher Tobirama Senju. Danzo Shimura was in the same situation as the two of them, just an addition. Hiruzen Sarutobi and Danzo Shimura stood at the door, without entering, looking at the unusual scene. Their heads seemed to be broken, and their heads made a buzzing sound. Mito Uzumaki put down her teacup, looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi and Danzo Shimura outside the door, and said lightly, "Since you have already come, then come in." The simple words made Danzo Shimura's scalp numb, his feet rooted to the ground, motionless, and turned to look at Hiruzen Sarutobi to see what he should do. Hiruzen Sarutobi's head was briefly stunned, and he finally woke up under Mito Uzumaki's words. He took a deep breath and strode into the door calmly. Danzo Shimura quickly followed, walking behind Hiruzen Sarutobi. As soon as Hiruzen Sarutobi and Danzo Shimura entered the door, the Senju family's ninjas standing beside the door immediately closed the door. Pa! The sound of the slap made Hiruzen Sarutobi, Danzo Shimura, Konoha, Mito Uzumaki, Torifu Akamichi, and Kagami Uchiha in the room tremble. It's so scary. In the room, Danzo Shimura and the other 5 people looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi at the same time. The meaning was obvious. You should speak at this time, you are the future 3rd generation Hokage. If you don't take the lead, who will? Hiruzen Sarutobi felt everyone's gaze, swallowed, and asked with a stiff head. Lord Mito, what happened to Konoha that you called us here so late? Mito Uzumaki looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi, and the few seconds of eye contact made Hiruzen Sarutobi's heartbeat accelerate. I remember I told you before. Tobirama's death is not allowed to be spread by anyone. But just this afternoon, the whole Konoha knew about it. Mito Uzumaki slapped the table, her voice full of energy, which made Hiruzen Sarutobi and others' faces become flustered. The 6 people looked at each other and did not know what happened. This afternoon, they were all staying alone in the rooms prepared by the Senju family, either resting or receiving treatment from the Senju family's medical ninjas. I need an explanation. Mito Uzumaki showed a fierce light, her eyes swept over Hiruzen Sarutobi and the others one by one, and the chakra in her body began to run wild, and the 9 tails chakra appeared, and the chaotic and evil aura swept everyone. It's going to be bad, it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad. Konoha, Mito Uzumaki, and Danzo Shimura shouted in their hearts. I can swear to God that I have been staying in the house today and have never been out. I have not seen anyone except the medical ninjas sent by the Senju family. If I leaked the news of Lord Tobirama's death, I will not die well. I swear by my family that I have absolutely not leaked any information, otherwise the whole family will die. All die. Konoha was the only woman among the people present, and her heart was relatively fragile. Facing the fully open Mito Uzumaki, she did not persist for a few seconds, and directly began to swear like she was exposing her family. I also swear, I also swear, I also swear. Konoha's emotions collapsed, driving the emotions of the remaining 5 people, so they became repeaters. Humph, swearing is enough? What I need is an explanation. Mito Uzumaki is not someone who can be easily fooled. If these little cubs do not spit out some useful information, she does not mind using some special means. Regarding the extraction of information from the enemy's mind, Konoha's Anbu is very good at this method. Just as a few people were swearing frantically, trying to prove their innocence, the door was suddenly opened. A person walked in from the outside, Senju Momoki, and said as soon as he entered the door. Lord Mito, the source of the news has been found out, all from the shops of the Uchiha family. As soon as the words fell, Hiruzen Sarutobi, Danzo Shimura, Konoha, Mito Uzumaki, Torifu Akamichi, and Kagami Uchiha all looked at Kagami Uchiha at the same time. Kagami Uchiha was at a loss. Me? Why is it me? Kagami Uchiha felt the sharp gazes, and the eyes of his former teammates were full of disappointment. Just now, the 6 of them were still holding together to keep warm, resisting the huge pressure brought to them by Mito Uzumaki, but now they were disintegrating. Danzo Shimura, Konoha, Mito Uzumaki, Torifu Akamichi, as if they had a telepathy, moved away from Kagami Uchiha. Only Hiruzen Sarutobi stayed in place, looking at Kagami Uchiha with a complicated expression. Mito Uzumaki's hair was faintly floating at the moment. Those who were familiar with Mito Uzumaki knew that the current Mito Uzumaki was on the verge of Bao Nu. The incomparably huge chakra in Mito's body was vented, and a visible chakra aura appeared around her body. The hard floor under her feet showed small cracks. As long as Mito Uzumaki used a little more force, it would be torn apart and burst open. Say something. You have to say something. Kagami Uchiha alone endured the pressure brought by Mito Uzumaki, feeling like he was a flat boat, drifting on the vast sea. At this moment, the sky above the sea was covered with dark clouds, lightning and thunder, and the roaring waves of dozens of meters high were rushing towards him. And a deep sense of powerlessness filled Kagami Uchiha. Killing intent mixed with various negative chakras enveloped Kagami Uchiha's whole body, but his body could not exert any strength. Weak, Kagami Uchiha had never felt his weakness so much. The old woman in front of him was kind and gentle in his memory, with a smile always on the corner of her mouth. Even so, Kagami Uchiha did not underestimate her. Her identity was not a secret to the Uchiha. Her strength was always praised by the elders of the clan. That old woman Mito, but she is not an easy character to get along with. Even I can only have a 50-50 chance with her. An old man from the Warring States period of the Uchiha once evaluated Mito Uzumaki like this. Now Kagami Uchiha understands that the nonsense in the mouths of the old guys in his clan is more than he imagined. Regarding Mito Uzumaki's strength, Kagami Uchiha had imagined it, thinking that even if he was not an opponent, he would at least have the power to fight. Now it seems that he is thinking too much. It's not me, I will never do things that leak information, let alone use the Uchiha's name to swear casually. Kagami Uchiha brought out the Uchiha clan. Kagami Uchiha has not degenerated to the point of casually using the poisonous oath of the Uchiha clan's extinction. However, Kagami Uchiha's defense seemed pale and weak. When the 6 of them returned to the village, they went straight to the Senju clan to report the bad news, and did not see other people in the middle. When they came to the Senju clan, they did not go out. But in just one afternoon, the news of Tobirama Senju's death spread throughout Konoha. The source of the news came from the Uchiha. There were only 7 people who knew the news of Tobirama Senju's death, including Mito Uzumaki, and Kagami Uchiha happened to be an Uchiha. The Uchiha did not have no secret methods of transmitting information. Did they have to transmit information face to face? Kagami Uchiha's statement obviously could not convince Mito Uzumaki. The matter had already happened, and someone always needed to stand up and pay the bill, and bear all of this. Whether it was done by Kagami Uchiha or not, in Mito Uzumaki's view, it was no longer important. The news came out from the Uchiha, and Kagami Uchiha had already become an accomplice, who made him an Uchiha. Mito Uzumaki stood up, her eyes filled with killing intent. The little cub of the Uchiha family in front of her could not be killed, but it was still possible to beat him to lie at home for half a year. Lord Mito, I believe in Kagami Uchiha. Hiruzen Sarutobi said loudly, then stood in front of Kagami Uchiha, his eyes staring at Mito Uzumaki. Everyone present was surprised. At this time, Hiruzen Sarutobi dared to stand up and protect Kagami Uchiha. A look of astonishment flashed across Mito Uzumaki's face, but it disappeared in an instant. She stared at Hiruzen Sarutobi's firm face for a few seconds, and then made a sound from her throat. Monkey cub, do you know what you are talking about? Want to be a hero here and pretend to be a good person? This kind of little trick can't impress me. The aura emitted by Mito Uzumaki moved away from Kagami Uchiha and stared at Hiruzen Sarutobi. Kagami Uchiha looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi and showed a grateful expression, and then began to gasp for breath. The feeling of being like floating on the sea and possibly drowning at any time disappeared. The cold sweat all over his body had soaked through his close-fitting underwear, and the clothes were tightly attached to Kagami Uchiha's skin. The sticky feeling was very uncomfortable, but Kagami Uchiha had no time to care about this. Hiruzen, don't be brave, Kagami Uchiha is an Uchiha after all. Danzo Shimura looked at his good buddy, who was bearing the pressure alone, and the person he was protecting was still an Uchiha who leaked the news. In Danzo Shimura's view, the person who leaked the news among the 6 of them must be the Uchiha. Teacher Tobirama has been wary of the Uchiha, and Kagami Uchiha is also a member of the Uchiha clan. It is not unacceptable to leak the news to the Uchiha. Shut up, did I ask you to speak? Mito Uzumaki looked at Danzo Shimura, very dissatisfied with Danzo Shimura's interruption. Danzo Shimura felt Mito Uzumaki's murderous gaze and immediately closed his mouth, as well behaved as a quail. Lord Mito, I have no intention of playing tricks. I believe that Kagami Uchiha is not that kind of person. Hiruzen Sarutobi said, his eyes were bright, and there was no timidity in his tone. Tell me your reason, Mito Uzumaki asked. Kagami Uchiha is special. He does not have the domineering and arrogant nature of the Uchiha. He is gentle and kind. He is always gentle to the companions around him. On the battlefield, he is a reliable comrade, and I can safely entrust my back to him. Hiruzen Sarutobi spoke slowly, talking about everything he knew about Kagami Uchiha, from the bits and pieces of life to the life and death together on the battlefield. In Hiruzen Sarutobi's memory, the Uchiha people were always arrogant, especially the Uchiha who had opened the Sharingan, who were even more arrogant. Hiruzen Sarutobi recalled the generation of Uchiha who were the same age as him. Two outliers appeared in the Uchiha. One was Kagami Uchiha, whom he was familiar with, and the other was Uchiha Nan. They were powerful and humble, and ordinary ninjas could joke with them. Even if they occasionally offended the two of them, they did not really get angry, thinking that the other party was just a slip of the tongue, and then smiled and passed it. Because of this, Tobirama Senju would try to accept disciples, Kagami Uchiha and Uchiha Nan. Kagami Uchiha accepted, while Uchiha Nan refused. What Hiruzen Sarutobi said was very detailed, which made everyone present moved. Even Danzo Shimura, who had just determined that Kagami Uchiha was the leaker, suspected that he might have wronged Kagami Uchiha. Hiruzen Sarutobi kept talking, from the bits and pieces of his relationship with Kagami Uchiha. Hiruzen Sarutobi believed that Kagami Uchiha would never leak the news of his teacher Tobirama Senju's death. Standing behind Hiruzen Sarutobi, Kagami Uchiha's inner excitement was beyond words. Gold is easy to get, but a confidant is hard to find. Kagami Uchiha didn't even know that Hiruzen Sarutobi would trust him so much. A confidant. It's simply a confidant. Hiruzen, next time you have something, you just say hello, brother has no second words. As Hiruzen Sarutobi spoke, the huge room fell silent, and no one spoke, all looking at Mito Uzumaki, waiting for her trial. Humph! A sneer came from Mito Uzumaki's throat. Mito looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi, her smile revealing a hint of sarcasm. That's really good. Are you sure you really want to protect Kagami Uchiha? You know, with Kagami Uchiha's identity, even if he really leaked the news, I can't kill him. He will at most suffer some flesh and blood pain. The leaking of the news has already happened. Kagami Uchiha, as an Uchiha, whether he did it or not, is an accomplice. Just being played like this, I, an old woman, have anger to vent. Seriously consider this question, and the answer will affect my attitude towards you, and your future position in Konoha. After speaking, Mito Uzumaki's aura subsided, and the thick and boundless chakra like the sea just now disappeared, making everyone present feel a lot easier. But Hiruzen Sarutobi did not feel much easier. Mito Uzumaki's question made Hiruzen Sarutobi's head big. He knew very well what the position in Mito Uzumaki's mouth meant. Hiruzen Sarutobi was not so demented that he only wanted to become the shadow of the most powerful ninja village in the entire ninja world with just a verbal appointment. Even if Tobirama Senju was alive, if he wanted to recommend him to become the Hokage, he would have to face some resistance. Tobirama did not have the ability to have the final say in Konoha. The only one who could have the final say in Konoha was Hashirama Senju. The reason is nothing else. Hashirama Senju possesses unparalleled martial power that can make everyone shut up. And Tobirama Senju still had to constantly suppress, divide, and fairly divide the benefits, so that the bloodstained families in the village would willingly be driven by him. Whether he can become the Hokage according to his teacher's last wish now depends entirely on the Mito Uzumaki in front of him. The meaning in Mito Uzumaki's words, Hiruzen Sarutobi, is very clear. Love brother, or love the position of Hokage? The weight of the following answer is very heavy, so heavy that Hiruzen Sarutobi's heart hesitated, and he subconsciously froze for a few seconds. Looking at Hiruzen Sarutobi's appearance, Danzo Shimura was anxious beside him, wishing he could make a choice for Hiruzen Sarutobi. Of course, it is to love the position of Hokage. Anyway, no matter what, Kagami Uchiha will not die. At most, he will lie at home for half a year. Hiruzen Sarutobi's righteous words just now can be regarded as worthy of his and Kagami Uchiha's fellow discipleship. At this moment, Kagami Uchiha also stared at Hiruzen Sarutobi, hoping that Hiruzen Sarutobi would temporarily abandon him. Just now, Hiruzen Sarutobi's righteous words made Kagami Uchiha feel that it was enough. Didn't Mito Uzumaki just want to vent her anger? It's just a flesh and blood pain. For the sake of my brother, I, Uchiha Kagami, can bear it. Lord Mito, Kagami Uchiha is innocent, and please don't implicate him. Hiruzen Sarutobi raised his head, his eyes met Mito Uzumaki, and his inner integrity did not allow him to make a choice that betrayed Kagami Uchiha. Good, very good, monkey cub, being a hero comes at a price. I hope you can bear it. Mito Uzumaki slapped the table and shouted, then let the surrounding Senju family ninjas throw out the 5 people except Hiruzen Sarutobi. Letting them stay in the Senju clan was to block the news. Now the news of Tobirama Senju's death has spread throughout the streets of Konoha. What's the use of keeping these few wastes? It's simply a waste of food for the Senju clan. Outside the Senju clan, just came out like this? The quiet night, the bright moon, made Konoha, who was still on the verge of life and death just now, feel like a world away, and let out a sigh. Why, do you still want to go back? Mito Uzumaki taunted from the side, making Konoha repeatedly deny it. It was not easy to get out of the Senju clan's Longtan tiger's den. How could he go back again? He was just a soy sauce maker, okay? Hokage, the future of Konoha. How can such a heavy word not be his turn to bear? It is better to go home early, wash and sleep. Danzo Shimura looked at the two of them, Konoha, Mito Uzumaki, who were joking and making fun in front of him, and he couldn't get angry. He directly shouted, Hiruzen hasn't come out yet. Danzo Shimura was heartbroken. His good buddy was left in the Senju clan again, and he didn't know if it was good or bad. Just now, Mito Uzumaki's reaction was obviously furious. Hiruzen, you will be a hero at any time. It was like this when you chose to be a bait to die in front of Master Tobirama Senju, and it is still like this now. Don't worry, Hiruzen, he will be fine. Kagami Uchiha was also worried about Hiruzen Sarutobi's safety. He knew that Mito Uzumaki should not harm Hiruzen Sarutobi's life, otherwise they would not have been released, and they would all be directly imprisoned in the Senju clan. But Hiruzen Sarutobi's life should not be easy. Mito Uzumaki has anger in her heart and nowhere to vent it. Now there is only Hiruzen Sarutobi left in the Senju clan, who will suffer if he does not suffer. Kagami Uchiha, shut up. Hiruzen was left in the Senju clan because of you. You and the Uchiha are not good things. The news of Master Tobirama's death was sent back by the Uchiha. For the sake of Hiruzen, I will temporarily believe you. You better not leak the news, otherwise I will not let you go. Danzo Shimura vented his anger at Kagami Uchiha, blaming everything on Kagami Uchiha. Kagami Uchiha was scolded and did not say a word, wanting to refute something, but stopped. Now he said anything. Danzo Shimura did not believe it, and after thinking about it, he did not believe himself. Counting Mito Uzumaki, there were only 7 people who knew, and the news leaked out instantly. The source of the news was still Uchiha, and he was the only one of the 7 who was surnamed Uchiha. This huge pot of heaven can't be put on his body so unclearly, and his small body can't carry it. Danzo Shimura roared for a while, and Kagami Uchiha just endured it. He felt guilty towards Hiruzen, and had nowhere to argue with Danzo Shimura's questioning. Scold it, just think it is for Hiruzen, so that you can feel better. Kagami Uchiha thought so, and after a while, Danzo was finally tired of scolding, and finally gave Kagami Uchiha a fierce look, left them, and walked towards his own direction. Konoha, Mito Uzumaki, and Torifu Akamichi saw Danzo leave, and had no intention of continuing to entangle with Kagami Uchiha here, and also said goodbye and went home. They also did not trust Kagami Uchiha, but their reaction was not as big as Danzo. Watching the estrangement and departure of his former companions, Kagami Uchiha vowed in his heart that he must find out the truth. The guy who leaked the news, you wait for me. Night. Hiruzen Sarutobi watched the Senju family ninjas leave the reception hall one by one. The huge reception hall was empty, making him extremely uneasy. The rustling sound of crickets lingered in his ears, and he couldn't help but feel uneasy. Just now, Mito Uzumaki invited everyone present to leave, and now there are only 2 people left in the room. Hiruzen Sarutobi observed Mito Uzumaki's face. Her expression was calm, and there was no sign of anger, as if Mito Uzumaki's roar just now was faked. "Lord Mito, please don't take offense at the offense I just made. Hiruzen Sarutobi thought for a while, and still felt that he needed to say something at this time to restore his image in Mito Uzumaki's heart. "Okay, sit down, I know what you want to say." Mito Uzumaki waved her hand, interrupting Hiruzen Sarutobi, and asked him to sit down and talk. So Hiruzen Sarutobi walked to the stool next to him and sat down, but only sat on half of his butt. Now he still couldn't figure out Mito Uzumaki's thoughts, ready to stand up and continue to be punished at any time. Mito Uzumaki looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi's cautious and uneasy appearance, and felt a burst of amusement in her heart. Her expression changed, and the kind face of a neighbor's grandmother appeared on her face again. "Monkey cub, your performance just now made me look at you with new eyes. You are not as ordinary as I thought. You can be regarded as having some extraordinary qualities." Mito Uzumaki looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi's nervous expression and praised him. In Mito Uzumaki's long life, she had seen too many geniuses favored by God. Her husband Hashirama Senju, her little uncle Tobarama Senju, and the Uchihas Madara Uchiha and Izuna Uchiha. They were the most shining figures of an era. Compared with them, the talent shown by Hiruzen Sarutobi was as mediocre as a stone on the roadside, and it did not attract attention at all. However, Hiruzen Sarutobi's character is not bad, and Tobarama's teaching is okay. Inheriting the will of fire of Konoha. "Lord Mito, you are too kind. I just did what I should do." Hiruzen Sarutobi spoke modestly. The current Mito Uzumaki had completely lost the fierce look of choosing someone to devour just now, and had a kind and amiable appearance of a neighbor's grandmother, which made Hiruzen Sarutobi feel a lot more relaxed. "There is no need to be too modest. You are still outstanding in your generation, but do you think you are worthy of the position of Hokage in Konoha?" Mito Uzumaki's words extinguished the flame that had just been ignited in Hiruzen Sarutobi's heart by the praise. "Am I worthy?" Hiruzen Sarutobi really wanted to answer that he was worthy of becoming the Hokage of Konoha. This was the dream he had set for himself since he became a ninja, a great wish that had not changed after several life and death experiences. Unfortunately, the reality is so cruel, he is not worthy. "I will do my best to make myself a qualified Hokage." Hiruzen Sarutobi replied like this, directly saying that he was not worthy. He really couldn't say it. "Humph, it seems you have some self-knowledge." Mito Uzumaki stood up. Her eyes looked at the Konoha emblem on the wall of the reception hall. Her eyes became deep. "In Konoha, there are many people who are more suitable to become the 3rd Hokage than you, such as me, or my son Tobarama Senju. Even the Uchiha Kagami just now is more suitable to become the Hokage than you. The martial power to suppress everyone in Konoha, a prominent background, and powerful family strength, you don't have any of these. I have been thinking for a long time, but I still can't figure out why Tobarama would pass the position of the 3rd Hokage to you. It's really unpredictable what that bastard Tobarama was thinking before he died. He is just giving me trouble, just like his brother Hashirama. I thought he was the most worry-free person." Mito Uzumaki said to herself, her tone old, recalling the past in her mind. Now the heavy burden of guarding Konoha is on her shoulders, so heavy that it makes her a little breathless. Hiruzen Sarutobi sat there, not daring to say a word. Mito Uzumaki scolded 2 Hokage in one sentence. How dare he interrupt? Is this a topic he can interrupt? Although I can't figure out why Tobarama would pass the position of the 3rd Hokage to you, I will still help you. After all, this is the last wish left by Tobarama. I hope that I have misjudged you, and you have extraordinary abilities that I have not yet discovered." Mito Uzumaki looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi, and the words she said made Hiruzen Sarutobi's heart beat wildly, and a joyful expression yi yu yan biao. "Lord Mito, I will work hard. Don't be too happy too early. I just said that I will help you, but I didn't say that I will definitely let you become the Hokage of Konoha. After all, what you have is far from enough to become the Hokage of Konoha." Hiruzen Sarutobi nodded. He knew his own situation, and he still had some self-knowledge. But now the situation is much better, and Mito Uzumaki's willingness to help herself is already the greatest kindness given by God. Originally, I wanted to hide the news of Tobarama's death first, and then find a way to suppress the families of Konoha. When the dust finally settles, I will release the news of Tobarama's death. It's a pity that those Uchiha guys can never be relaxed. The news of Tobarama's death has spread throughout Konoha, and the news that you abandoned Tobarama and fled back to the village is even more well known. Next, your reputation in Konoha may not be good. Lord Mito, we didn't want to deliberately abandon Lord Tobarama, that was. Hiruzen Sarutobi stood up and wanted to argue. On the battlefield, ninjas are to obey orders, even if the orders violate their duties. What's more, this was the order of the Hokage, and the 6 of them did not have the ability to disobey Tobarama Senju's order. Mito Uzumaki waved her hand, telling Hiruzen Sarutobi not to be too excited. I know, no need to explain, Tobarama is a person who always says one thing, especially on the battlefield. He makes a decision, and you can only obey it. But the villagers will not understand these things, not to mention that there are Uchiha guiding behind them. You have to be prepared. Mito Uzumaki reminded Hiruzen Sarutobi that this is not without a solution. The Hokage sacrificed himself, carried out the will of fire of Konoha, and saved the new leaves of Konoha. Hiruzen Sarutobi still has Tobarama's last wish, and with the blessing of righteousness, he can barely recover his reputation in public opinion. If you operate well, you can still make up for it. After all, the views of the villagers who have no martial power at all cannot determine the position of the Hokage. Those who have the ability to determine the position of the Hokage are still the ninja families of Konoha. I understand, Lord Mito. Hiruzen Sarutobi's tone was full of gratitude. Fortunately, with the help of Lord Mito, otherwise he would be drowned by the spittle of the villagers of Konoha, let alone become the Hokage of Konoha. If you want to become Hokage, the biggest resistance will come from the ninja clans of Konoha, with the Uchiha taking the lead. Hiruzen Sarutobi nodded. The news of his teacher Tobarama Senju's death was leaked by the Uchiha. He believed that Kagami Uchiha was not the one who leaked the information, which meant that the Uchiha had their own information channels. It was even possible that they had prior knowledge of the attack during Tobarama's negotiation. The Uchiha's desire for the Hokage position had always been undisguised. Even during Tobarama Senju's tenure as Hokage, there were still radical voices within the Uchiha clan calling for the overthrow of Tobarama's rule. However, such people always met their demise in some mission or war, and the Uchiha clan could never find any evidence to prove that their deaths were related to Tobarama Senju. The deaths of several extremists had made the Uchiha wary and much quieter. Furthermore, Tobarama Senju was fair in his dealings, and the Uchiha received their due share of benefits. Other ninja clans in Konoha had flourished in recent years and fully recognized Tobarama Senju as their Hokage. Unfortunately, Tobarama's unexpected death during negotiations had given the Uchiha a golden opportunity to seize the Hokage position. I have confidence in the Uchiha. They have always been the same, listening to whoever has the bigger fist. Back then, when Hashirama defeated Madara, Madara eventually left Konoha, but the Uchiha clan did not follow him. And now, no one in the Konoha Uchiha is my match. Unless they go crazy and send out their clan's elites at any cost, they might be able to kill me. But they don't have the guts. Mito Uzumaki changed the subject, her tone filled with confidence. Currently, no one in Konoha was her match. With her already formidable strength, plus the 9 tails inside her, Mito was a walking natural disaster. Hiruzen Sarutobi was moved by Mito Uzumaki's confidence, feeling the demeanor of the older generation of strong individuals. He had already experienced Mito Uzumaki's strength, which was suffocatingly powerful. I have ways to deal with the Uchiha, but the clans that are hindering you from becoming Hokage are not just the Uchiha. The Senju clan is also unwilling to let you become Hokage. Mito Uzumaki sighed. The real crisis was not from the external Uchiha, but from her own clan, the Senju. Hiruzen Sarutobi opened his eyes wide, assuming that Mito Uzumaki supported him and subconsciously thinking that the Senju clan was on his side. You don't think I can represent the Senju clan, do you? Mito Uzumaki said slowly, looking at Hiruzen Sarutobi's expression. Normally, my status allows me to act freely in the Senju clan, and even Tobarama gives me face. But now that Tobarama is dead, the position you are vying for is the third Hokage of Konoha. 2 Hokage have already come from the Senju clan. The Senju enjoy this glory and are accustomed to the benefits brought by the Hokage position. They have even taken it for granted that the third Hokage will also come from the Senju. Mito Uzumaki spoke slowly, giving Hiruzen Sarutobi time to digest her words. How to persuade the Senju clan to accept Hiruzen Sarutobi was Mito Uzumaki's biggest headache. The Senju clan founded Konoha, and 2 Hokage came from the Senju. They also died in the Hokage position, which was a great honor. Moreover, in the First Shinobi World War, the Senju clan contributed the most in Konoha, since their clan leader was the Hokage of Konoha. Senju clansmen were often the most numerous in the most dangerous battlefields. The Senju clansmen were also generous in sacrificing their lives to protect Konoha. Almost the entire Senju clan believed that the third Hokage would still come from the Senju. Some extreme Senju clansmen even believed that their Senju clan was Konoha. Now that the war was about to end and the fruits of victory were about to be harvested, the blood of the Senju clan's warriors was almost drained. To let a Sarutobi clan, who used to follow behind them and pick up leftovers, take the fruits of victory. Mito Uzumaki didn't dare to imagine how much resentment that would cause. The old men of the Senju family who had survived from the Warring States period were not all dead yet. Each of them valued the future of the clan more than their own lives. Some were even older than Hashirama, and some were even 2 or 3 generations older than him. They had dedicated their lives to the Senju clan and could slap Hashirama, who would still happily try to appease them. "Grandpa, does your hand hurt? I won't do it again next time." Mito Uzumaki could imagine how furious they would be if she told them that Tobarama had passed the third Hokage position to Hiruzen Sarutobi. They would probably curse Tobarama into a pile of dung even if he were alive, let alone her. They could choke her with a single sentence. "You, Uzumaki, have no right to discuss the Senju family's affairs." These old men, when pushed to the extreme, would dare to say anything. Even if she was invincible, she couldn't attack them. Moreover, these old men were not afraid of death. They could even stick out their necks and let Mito Uzumaki chop them off. As long as she could guarantee that the third Hokage would still be from the Senju family, they would die willingly. Lord Mito, this. Hiruzen Sarutobi was speechless. He couldn't do anything if the Senju clan opposed him. What could he do to his teacher's clan? He couldn't beat them, and he couldn't justify himself. The old men in the Senju clan have long since decided on the candidate for the third Hokage, and that is Tobarama Senju. His identity is Hashirama's son. His strength is also among the best in the Senju clan. He has made great contributions in this Shinobi World War. As a commander of a front line, he withstood the pressure from the Iwagakure village. He is now rushing back to Konoha and will return to the village soon. Mito Uzumaki looked at Hiruzen Sarutobi, scrutinizing him. She could help him share the pressure from the Uchiha, but she couldn't do anything about the pressure from the Senju clan. Being neutral was already the limit, not to mention that Tobarama Senju was her son, who had taken his father Hashirama as an example since childhood and dreamed of becoming Hokage to protect Konoha. She, Mito Uzumaki, was not so selfless as to help an outsider fight her own son. If you want to become Hokage, you must defeat Tobarama, defeat him openly and fairly in front of the Senju clan, and then I will have a chance to help you persuade the Senju clan. Mito Uzumaki continued, this was the limit of what she could do. She had seen how much Tobarama had sacrificed to become Hokage. Alas, Tobarama, you bastard, you are even more of a bastard than Hashirama. You really know how to give me a problem. Mito Uzumaki was conflicted and wanted to pull Tobarama Senju out of the underworld and beat him up. Lord Mito, I understand. You have done enough. Hiruzen Sarutobi was filled with gratitude. Mito Uzumaki had been selfless enough. Tobarama Senju was her son. She had deliberately avoided this identity just now. Lord Mito had been fair enough. Early morning, a thin mist lingered over the Uchiha compound. Kagami Uchiha walked slowly, aimlessly, his eyes bloodshot. After leaving the Senju compound, He had wandered the streets of Konoha until dawn before returning to his clan. His mind was in a turmoil. At first, he wanted to find the person in the Uchiha clan who had leaked the news of Lord Tobarama's death. But after calming down, Kagami Uchiha felt that even if he caught him, what could he do? Without the Uchiha clan's help, it was impossible for him alone to spread the news of Lord Tobarama's death throughout Konoha in just one afternoon. What if the mastermind behind the spread of the news was Fugaku Uchiha? He was the head of the Uchiha clan, and currently, he seemed to be the most suspicious. Only a few people in the entire Uchiha clan could mobilize the clan's forces so quickly. Was he going to turn against the clan leader for Hiruzen Sarutobi? Kagami Uchiha felt dizzy, even having such a rebellious thought. But if he just let it go, he would be carrying a black pot for no reason, feeling angry and unable to vent, and unable to face Hiruzen Sarutobi. "Hey, Kagami, you're back." Several passing Uchiha clansmen saw Kagami Uchiha return and greeted him, their eyes wandering over Kagami Uchiha, their expressions extremely strange. They had heard the news that Kagami Uchiha and the others had abandoned the Hokage and fled back to Konoha. They never expected that Kagami Uchiha, a genius of the Uchiha, would do such a thing. "Is it true that Captain Uchiha Nan said you abandoned the Hokage and fled back to Konoha?" "Yeah, you're a genius of the Uchiha. You wouldn't do such a thing, would you?" Captain Nan also said that Hiruzen Sarutobi is going to become the third Hokage of Konoha? That's impossible, right? Many Uchiha clansmen suddenly appeared around Kagami Uchiha, asking questions and trying to confirm whether Uchiha Nan's news was true. "Who did you say? Uchiha Nan?" Kagami Uchiha's expression was incredulous. Was Uchiha Nan the one who leaked the news of Lord Tobarama's death? How could that be? Uchiha Nan was the clansman he got along with best in the clan. Uchiha Nan was an Uchiha recognized by teacher Tobarama, an Uchiha who had transcended petty interests and inherited the will of fire of Konoha. How could he do such a thing? What difference would that make between him and the hawkish Uchiha in the clan? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Kagami Uchiha felt that he was too tired and had auditory hallucinations, or maybe it was a genjutsu. Someone was trying to harm him. "Release. I release." Kagami Uchiha formed the hand seal specifically for dispelling genjutsu, but found that it was useless. The Uchiha clansmen around him were still talking about Uchiha Nan. "Enough!" Kagami Uchiha shouted. He didn't want to waste any more time here. He wanted to find Uchiha Nan and ask him why he did this. Did he have any unspeakable reasons? Was he forced to do this by the clan leader? 16 years. Uchiha Nan's 16-year reputation as a good person in Konoha made it impossible for Kagami Uchiha to accept this reality. How could an Uchiha pretend to be a good person for 16 years and deceive teacher Tobarama? That was too terrifying. Kagami Uchiha was so anxious that he used the body flicker technique, arriving at Uchiha Nan's house in 2 or 3 minutes. "Uchiha Nan, you don't have to be afraid. Were you forced by the clan leader to be the vanguard and leak the news of Lord Tobarama's death?" Uchiha Nan was doing his usual, "the times are calling," exercise when he saw Kagami Uchiha's bloodshot eyes and somewhat deranged expression. He was confused by what he said. What clan leader? Did Fugaku Uchiha have the ability to force him? Was that a good thing? When Tobarama Senju was alive, he had to maintain his persona and hide his purpose. Now that Tobarama was dead, he was thinking about how to squeeze out Fugaku Uchiha and become the head of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Nan was determined to get the position of the third Hokage. He hoped that Fugaku Uchiha would not compete with him for the clan leader position, otherwise, he would have to get rid of him first. "Kagami Uchiha, I was the one who ordered the police force to spread the news of Tobarama's death throughout Konoha. Fugaku Uchiha didn't know anything. He didn't have that kind of information. He. Uchiha Nan curled his lips, revealing a smile. He didn't care about Tobarama and Fugaku Uchiha at all, not even using honorifics. Anyway, he was going to lay his cards on the table with Fugaku Uchiha and become Hokage. He couldn't let Fugaku Uchiha remain the head of the Uchiha clan after he became Hokage, could he? Since they were going to tear off their masks anyway, why bother pretending? He was tired of pretending when Tobarama Senju was alive. Uchiha Nan was going to climb to the top step by step, become the head of the Uchiha clan, and become the Hokage of Konoha. Uchiha Nan, how did you become like this? You weren't like this in the past. Kagami Uchiha's voice trembled. The Uchiha Nan in front of him was so unfamiliar, and the wanton laughter in his ears was so harsh. Uchiha Nan was now exactly the same as the Hawks in the clan. Could it be that Uchiha Nan's past appearance was all an act? That was too terrifying. Could someone really pretend to be an inheritor of the Will of Fire for 16 years? Lord Tobirama always placed high hopes on you, believing that you inherited the Will of Fire of Konoha. Was your past appearance all an act? Act? Uchiha Nan sneered. Did he need to act? He wasn't a fool. He had learned the basics of caring for his companions and respecting the old and young. It was just that the Uchiha were too extreme, all arrogant. Uchiha Nan's usual behavior, which he thought was normal, had become an anomaly among the Uchiha. For example, greeting the villagers of Konoha warmly, helping old ladies cross the road, and using polite language when dealing with merchants. These were just the basic qualities of a college student. How could these things be done by the proud Uchiha? But Uchiha Nan later found that this set was really useful. His essays about the Will of Fire at the Ninja Academy made Tobirama Senju think that Uchiha Nan was an Uchiha who inherited the Will of Fire. If you think so, then so be it. Uchiha Nan was too lazy to explain so much to Kagami Uchiha. Why did you come here so early in the morning just to tell me this? Seeing Uchiha Nan's undisguised appearance, Kagami Uchiha felt cold all over. The terror of Uchiha Nan in front of him was beyond his imagination. Uchiha Nan had really pretended to be an inheritor of the Will of Fire, and only revealed his true colors after teacher Tobirama died. You. Kagami Uchiha pointed at Uchiha Nan, his back feeling cold. Someone could wear a mask for more than a decade, deceiving everyone in Konoha, and that person happened to be a member of his own clan, the Uchiha. It was terrifying. Uchiha Nan looked at Kagami Uchiha strangely, feeling as if Kagami Uchiha had something stuck in his throat. Had he left his vocal cords on the battlefield? He sounded just like a repeater. Speak. How exactly did you know the news of Lord Tobirama's death? Kagami Uchiha's eyes flashed with ferocity. He had been inexplicably carrying a black pot for Uchiha Nan and had been fooled by Uchiha Nan's mask for so many years, making Kagami Uchiha feel like a clown. He couldn't swallow this anger. What level are you? You dare to interrogate me? Gold, you're just a dog of Tobirama Senju. A dog that abandoned its master. Uchiha Nan looked at Kagami Uchiha's angry face, as if he had stolen his girlfriend, and directly retorted without holding back. In the Uchiha clan, no amount of talk about benevolence and morality was as useful as a fist. In the past, he had acted like an outlier in the clan, and those blind guys in the clan had been dealt with by him. Now that Uchiha Nan was aiming for the Hokage position of Konoha, the facade he had put on while Tobirama Senju was Hokage was useless. He had to strike hard in the Uchiha clan and beat down anyone who dared to disobey. He would start with Kagami. He would strike first to avoid 100 blows later. To establish his authority, he had to pick a tough opponent. Kagami Uchiha's face stiffened, and his expression turned ugly. The Uchiha Nan who had torn off his mask was exactly the same as the Hawks in the clan. No, Uchiha Nan's insults were even worse than theirs. When did he become Tobirama Senju's dog? He was a disciple. Kagami Uchiha trembled with anger. Uchiha Nan's insults were too harsh. I now suspect that Lord Tobirama's death is related to you. Kagami Uchiha roared. The Uchiha Nan in front of him had been pretending for so long, and his cunning was far beyond his imagination. He had deceived him, deceived Tobirama Senju, and deceived everyone in Konoha. Uchiha Nan was able to obtain such confidential information about Tobirama's death, so it was hard not to suspect that he was involved. Slander, you're slandering me. I'm the captain of the Uchiha police force. I bled and contributed to Konoha on the battlefield. Uchiha Nan was so scared that he almost made a coon cry. This was not how black pots were pinned. If he had the ability to set up such a big scheme and kill Tobirama Senju, he would have done it long ago. Why wait so long? Tobirama Senju's death was just Kishimoto's fault, a plot kill. Tobirama Senju, who had the Flying Thunder God technique, was full of forbidden techniques. In the ninja world, if he wanted to run, who could stop him? Damn it, Kagami Uchiha looked decent, but he was full of bad intentions. He was pinning such a black pot on him. He had to deal with him. Uchiha Nan decided to strike first. Take this. Uchiha Nan formed hand seals, and a ninja sword appeared out of thin air. A dazzling blue lightning flashed, and the roar of the blade cutting through the air came whistling. Thunder flash. Uchiha Nan's eyes were spinning rapidly with 3 tomo. This move required the dynamic vision of the Sharingan. Clang. Lightning flashed with sparks. Kagami Uchiha pulled out a kunai to block, and the ground under his feet cracked. Kagami Uchiha felt a tightness in his chest and immediately formed a hand seal. Body flicker technique. Kagami Uchiha didn't want to fight Uchiha Nan, a swordmaster, at close range. The number of souls that had died under Uchiha Nan's blade was in the triple digits. You're quite fast, Gold. Uchiha Nan thought that this move could at least injure Kagami Uchiha, but it didn't matter. Uchiha Nan didn't expect to kill Kagami Uchiha in one move. You really have a problem. Kagami Uchiha's voice was cold, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. In Kagami Uchiha's view, Uchiha Nan was trying to silence him. Fire style. Great fire dragon technique. A blazing fire appeared, and a fire dragon tens of meters long circled in the air and charged towards Uchiha Nan after a few rounds. Interesting. Uchiha Nan gripped the hilt of his sword, grinning, and then exerted force under his feet. Lightning flashed around him, constantly stimulating his cells. With a whoosh, Uchiha Nan rushed towards the fire dragon. The blade flashed, and the fire dragon's body was split in two, scattering and exploding, with sparks falling in the air. Die! Uchiha Nan came to Kagami Uchiha's side in an instant, and the blade flashed, forcing Kagami Uchiha to retreat. Uchiha Nan's extreme speed and sharp swordsmanship aimed at Kagami Uchiha's vitals, making Kagami Uchiha miserable. His previous injuries had not yet healed. No, he couldn't continue to entangle like this. While Kagami Uchiha resisted Uchiha Nan's attacks, he secretly formed hand seals. The moment the Sharingan met the Sharingan. Ninja art. Body binding technique. Uchiha Nan's eyes suddenly dimmed, the 3 tomo in his Sharingan stopped spinning, the raised ninja sword fell, and he stood there in a daze. Phew, phew, phew. Seeing Uchiha Nan stop moving, Kagami Uchiha finally couldn't hold back and started panting heavily, then began to cough, coughing up blood. The initial sneak attack had directly caused internal injuries to Kagami Uchiha, and he had been holding his breath. Uchiha Nan's swordsmanship was terrifyingly strong. Kagami Uchiha felt that if he persisted for a few more breaths, he would be killed by Uchiha Nan. Fortunately, he had controlled Uchiha Nan with Genjutsu. Now was not the time to rest. He couldn't control Uchiha Nan with Genjutsu for long. He had to tie up Uchiha Nan first and then hand him over to Lord Mito Uzumaki to clear his name. Thinking of this, Kagami Uchiha ignored the blood he was coughing up and quickly approached Uchiha Nan. Swallow return. Uchiha Nan suddenly attacked, and the blade flashed, catching Kagami Uchiha off guard. He took a solid hit, and a hideous wound appeared on his chest, revealing his bones, and his intestines were leaking out. You didn't really think I was caught in Genjutsu, did you? I was just playing with you. I've been guarding against this move. Uchiha Nan's mocking voice came from Kagami Uchiha's ear. In his previous life, those Naruto fans had spread rumors that Kagami Uchiha and Shisui Uchiha were related, and their Genjutsu skills were far beyond ordinary Uchiha. How could Uchiha Nan not guard against Genjutsu? You. Kagami Uchiha wanted to say something, but he couldn't hold on any longer. His eyes became heavier and heavier, and he finally fainted. Uchiha Nan walked up to Kagami Uchiha, satisfied with his masterpiece. His swordsmanship had improved again. He had inflicted serious injuries without killing him, so that Kagami Uchiha wouldn't switch sides to Hiruzen Sarutobi and cause him trouble. He couldn't kill him directly. Uchiha Nan didn't do such things as killing clan members at will. He still wanted to be the clan leader. Then Uchiha Nan's hands glowed green, and he used medical ninjutsu to stop Kagami Uchiha's bleeding first, then simply bandaged him to ensure he could last for a while. The rest could be left to the clan's medical ninjas. In the midst of the wreckage, Uchiha Nan kicked away the charred branches while wiping the blood off his hands with a rag. The blood belonged to Uchiha Kagami, and the rag was torn from Uchiha Kagami's clothes. This blood was a bit difficult to wipe off. Just as Uchiha Nan was about to complain, he saw a row of Uchiha clansmen standing not far away, clearly attracted by the commotion of the fight. Seeing this, Uchiha Nan didn't intend to hide anything. He walked straight towards them, a smile on his face, and greeted them warmly. The rising dawn cast a ray of sunlight, which happened to fall on Uchiha Nan's face. His delicate face still looked a bit childish, and Uchiha Nan was confident that his smile was great now. It was just a pity that Uchiha Nan had been busy wiping the blood off his hands and forgot to wipe the blood off his face. The sunny smile with spots of bloodstains looked particularly strange, making the Uchiha present feel overwhelmed by Uchiha Nan's enthusiasm. What kind of good person smiles like that? Just now, Uchiha Kagami was bewitched by Hiruzen Sarutobi and actually came to attack me. But I discovered it in time, and now he has been subdued. Uchiha Nan casually made up an excuse, throwing another black pot on Uchiha Kagami. Anyway, Uchiha Kagami was used to carrying black pots. What, you don't believe me? Uchiha Nan grinned, put his hand on the still dripping ninja sword, and asked considerately when he saw that the Uchiha in front of him didn't react. We believe you. We must believe you. How could we not believe what the captain said? Uchiha Kagami is simply an ingrate. The Uchiha quickly nodded, repeatedly saying they believed him, and some even cursed at Uchiha Kagami. Anabi, Tekka, you're here too. Anabi, go carry Uchiha Kagami to the clan's medical ninjas. Don't let him die at my door. It's bad luck. Uchiha Nan found that the Uchiha Anabi and Uchiha Tekka brothers were also here to watch the show, so he simply asked Anabi to send Uchiha Kagami for treatment first. Uchiha Nan's medical ninjutsu was average. If he delayed too long, Uchiha Nan was afraid that Uchiha Kagami would really die. Oh, I got it. Uchiha Anabi hurriedly ran to Uchiha Kagami not far away when he heard Uchiha Nan's order. Seeing Uchiha Kagami's injuries, Uchiha Anabi couldn't help but gasp. A large wound on Kagami's stomach was clearly visible. The long wound was roughly stitched with black thread. The craftsmanship was really unflattering. The intestines could still be vaguely seen, and the bleeding had stopped for the time being. Uchiha Kagami was now breathing more than inhaling. If he didn't get treatment, he would really die here. Uchiha Anabi couldn't help but swallow his saliva, recalling Uchiha Nan's smile just now. It was so unfamiliar, as if he was meeting Uchiha Nan for the first time. It seemed that he had to be quieter in front of the captain in the future. Uchiha Anabi shuddered and didn't dare to think about it anymore. Uchiha Anabi gently picked up Uchiha Kagami with both hands, not daring to use too much force for fear that Uchiha Kagami's blood would spurt out, and hurried towards the home of the clan's medical ninjas. The remaining Uchiha looked at Uchiha Kagami's half-dead appearance, turned their heads to look at Uchiha Nan, and Uchiha Nan still had a familiar smile on his face. Fear, awe, various emotions intertwined in the eyes of the Uchiha. They wanted to leave here, but they didn't dare to move a step without Uchiha Nan's permission. Tekka, send someone to tell the clan leader and the clan elders that I want to hold a clan meeting. All Uchiha ninjas must come. Now that the Hokage of Konoha is dead, the Uchiha are about to usher in a new opportunity. Maybe this time the Uchiha can produce a Hokage. I think he, the clan leader, can't grasp this opportunity. It's better to change to someone who can grasp it. I want to lead the Uchiha to create a new era, an era of Konoha that belongs to the Uchiha. As soon as Uchiha Nan finished speaking, the faces of the Uchiha changed drastically. They understood what Uchiha Nan meant without thinking. Uchiha Nan wanted to overthrow Uchiha Tomita and become the new clan leader of the Uchiha. Unfamiliar, too unfamiliar. The Uchiha Nan in front of them was completely different from the Uchiha Nan in their impression. His tone was domineering and ambitious, completely in the style of the Hawks. Lord Uchiha Nan, I support you. And Uchiha shouted with a fanatical expression. Uchiha Nan had an impression of him. He was from the same batch as him on the battlefield, and his name seemed to be Uchiha Yoda. It was just that they weren't in the same team, but they had fought side by side. Uchiha Yoda cheered. On the battlefield, Uchiha Nan rushed into the crowd alone. The ninja sword in his hand was intertwined with blue light and blood wherever it passed. Flesh and blood splattered everywhere. Chunin and Genin were killed like chopping vegetables in front of Uchiha Nan. At that time, Uchiha Yoda admired Uchiha Nan. The real Uchiha should be as strong as Uchiha Nan. It was just a pity that Uchiha Nan didn't show much ambition at that time. He just looked like he was going to go through fire and water for Konoha, which made Uchiha Yoda feel very regretful. Now Uchiha Yoda was extremely happy. His idol was finally going to take the lead. To hell with Uchiha Tomita, he didn't have the guts to be the Hokage of Konoha at all. Uchiha Tomita, who usually maintained the balance between the Uchiha and the Hokage, was just a soft egg in front of Uchiha Yoda. A seed player of the Hawks. Uchiha Nan looked at Uchiha Yoda's appearance and praised him in his heart. This young man had a promising future. When Tobirama Senju was alive in the past, he had to be cowardly when he should be. Now that he was dead, he had to be ruthless and be a hawk. Captain, I support you too. Uchiha Tekka hurriedly followed. He was a loyal supporter of Uchiha Nan. His brother's life was saved by Uchiha Nan. He had to support him just to repay his gratitude. Uchiha Tekka's mind was spinning rapidly, recalling Uchiha Nan's actions yesterday. He got the news of Tobirama Senju's death in front of everyone in Konoha and reacted so quickly, directly skipping clan leader Tomita's orders. It was hard not to let people have wild imaginations. The captain's appearance in the past was becoming more and more unfamiliar. No way, was the captain pretending to be like that in the past? Was the captain a hawk since he was a child? Uchiha Tekka couldn't help but gasp. Could someone wear a mask from childhood to now? Was that still a human? Uchiha Tekka felt that his guess was too fantastic, but his intuition told him that the current Uchiha Nan was the real one. Captain, I support you too. Another Uchiha stood up, also an Uchiha who had fought on the battlefield with Uchiha Nan. With 2 or 3 Uchiha taking the lead, the rest of the Uchiha could only follow. People were like that, and the Uchiha were no exception. Moreover, it was not unacceptable for Uchiha Nan to become the clan leader. Powerful martial arts, outstanding achievements, handsome face, he had them all. Uchiha Nan stood there, his smile growing even wider, enjoying the cheers of the crowd. Tekka, set the clan meeting for tomorrow afternoon at the old place, Nanga Shrine. Yes, Uchiha Tekka nodded in agreement. Then Uchiha Nan waved his hand and dismissed everyone. In just one morning, Uchiha Nan's actions caused a huge uproar in the Uchiha clan. The shock even overshadowed the news of Tobirama's death for a time. Uchiha Nan wanted to overthrow clan leader Tomita Uchiha and replace him. One big piece of gossip after another. The Uchiha hadn't had such a good time eating melons in a long time. It was so satisfying. At this moment, in Tomita Uchiha's house, the spacious and bright living room was now a bit cramped. A dozen Uchiha were looking intently at Tomita Uchiha, who was sitting upright. Tomita Uchiha's wife, Makoto Uchiha, was carrying a tea tray, busy pouring water for the Uchiha present. The snacks prepared for usual guests were not enough, which made Makoto Uchiha a little headache. So many people came at once, and there was no preparation at all. However, the Uchiha sitting there didn't have the mood to drink tea and enjoy snacks. As Tomita Uchiha's supporters, they were at a loss for what to do about what had happened in Konoha in the past 2 days. First, Tobirama Senju was killed in an ambush during negotiations. They hadn't fully digested this shocking news. Then, the genius of the clan, Uchiha Nan, broke people's impression and directly launched an attack on the Uchiha clan leader. It was said that he was the one who spread the news of Tobirama's death. They were very familiar with Uchiha Nan. If it weren't for the Uchiha's exclusive Sharingan, it would be no problem to say that he was from the Senju clan. Tomita Uchiha held a pipe in his hand, puffing on it, trying to relieve his inner anxiety. Not to mention his subordinates being confused, he was also confused. In just 2 days, the situation had changed as quickly as if decades had passed. It was so fast that Tomita Uchiha felt that he was old and couldn't keep up with the times. 2 days ago, Tomita Uchiha was still planning to ask Tobirama for more compensation after Tobirama Senju signed the peace agreement. To fight this war, all the ninjas trained by the clan were sent to the battlefield. The value of the shurikens, kunai, and other weapons provided by the clan's weapon industry to Konoha was even more astronomical. The number of soldier pills was countless. That was all money. Ninjas risked their lives to make a living, wasn't it all for money? All kinds of compensation. Tobirama had been dragging his feet. All of this would inevitably involve a war of words. Then, everything was gone. Tobirama was dead. He died suddenly, without any preparation. The captain of the police force he promoted, Uchiha Nan, went crazy and changed his usual style, trying to overthrow him and become the head of the Uchiha clan. Soon, the living room of Tomita Uchiha's house was filled with smoke. Half of the Uchiha present were old smokers. They had planned to hold back at the clan leader's house and smoke outside. Now that the clan leader had taken the lead, they would smoke together. One Uchiha exhaled a smoke ring and saw that Tomita Uchiha was still smoking by himself. He couldn't hold back any longer and wanted to say something. "Clan leader, what should we do about the clan meeting tomorrow afternoon?" As soon as one person spoke, the others immediately followed suit. Yes, clan leader, Uchiha Nan must have been planning this for a long time. He was the first to get the news of Lord Tobirama's death. Tomita Uchiha recalled Uchiha Nan's past style, which was completely different from now. He was an experienced man. After being the clan leader for more than 10 years, he was very good at grasping people's hearts. He really didn't see through Uchiha Nan before. Disguise. Someone could really disguise themselves for so long. He was indeed a formidable young man. It wasn't until Tobirama's death that he revealed his true colors. Uchiha Nan had long wanted to be Hokage. Tomita Uchiha admired Uchiha Nan. He was indeed a genius of the Uchiha, with top-notch character and strength. Now was indeed the time when the Uchiha were closest to the Hokage position. But Tomita Uchiha couldn't figure it out. What did Uchiha Nan rely on? Putting his hand on his heart and asking himself, Uchiha Nan was very strong. He had easily defeated Uchiha Kagami this morning. There were probably very few people in the Uchiha clan who were stronger than him. Even if he fought Uchiha Nan, he didn't have the confidence to win. Perhaps Uchiha Nan was already the #1 person in the Uchiha in terms of combat power. But did being a clan leader rely solely on combat power? Did he really think he had been the clan leader for so many years for nothing? Tomita Uchiha quickly scanned the Uchiha in the room. Almost all of them had activated the 3 Tomo Sharingan. They were all Jonin of the Uchiha, forming an elite team. With him leading, they could even kill Tobirama Senju, but the price they would pay was unacceptable to the Uchiha. What was the use of being able to fight? You had to have power and background to get ahead. Did he really think he was a pushover after Tobirama died? Without activating the Mangekyo Sharingan, there would be no qualitative difference between the Uchiha. Alright, stop complaining. Uchiha Nan is a genius of the clan. It's inevitable that he's arrogant after coming back from the battlefield. We're all one family. I was elected as the clan leader after Lord Madara left Konoha. Since Uchiha Nan thinks he's more suitable to be the clan leader and took the initiative to ask for a clan meeting, let's discuss it at the clan meeting and let the Uchiha clansmen see who is more suitable to be the clan leader. Tomita Uchiha interrupted the discussion of the Uchiha, speaking calmly, but the coldness in his tone was felt by all the Uchiha present. Uchiha Nan was going to be in big trouble this time. Clan leader, you know me. I will definitely support you. Me too, me too. That little brat Uchiha Nan is too arrogant. He doesn't know the sacrifices the clan leader has made for the clan over the years. We must make Uchiha Nan pay the price. For a time, the Uchiha present collectively expressed their loyalty to Tomita Uchiha. Alright, no matter what, Uchiha Nan is a genius of the clan and a hero of Konoha. He's just young and frivolous. When you people are as old as Uchiha Nan and as strong as him, you might be even more arrogant than him. Tomita Uchiha interrupted them and decided on his attitude towards Uchiha Nan. He was still tolerant towards Uchiha Nan. Geniuses were tolerated everywhere. When he was older and Tomita was older, if Tomita couldn't take on the responsibility of the Uchiha, Uchiha Nan would be a good choice. But not now. He could voluntarily abdicate the position of clan leader, but he wouldn't tolerate anyone forcing him out. Outside Nanga Shrine. Today's clan meeting was not held in the small room inside Nanga Shrine because there was not enough room for all the clansmen attending. In the past, the clansmen attending the clan meeting were basically those who had activated the Sharingan. This time was different. All Uchiha ninjas, including the rookie genin who were still doing D-rank missions, had to attend. The last time there was such a big scene was when Madara Uchiha made up his mind to reconcile with the Senju clan and jointly create Konoha village. This sudden move made every Uchiha present feel complicated. Today's clan meeting was likely to determine the fate of the Uchiha for the next few decades. Here he comes, Uchiha Nan is here. A voice suddenly came from the crowd, making the originally noisy crowd unanimously shut their mouths. Their eyes turned to the direction of Uchiha Nan. The surrounding crowd voluntarily opened a passage for Uchiha Nan to walk to the front. Uchiha Nan didn't feel any discomfort from the gazes of the crowd. He walked straight forward with his signature smile on his face. Tomita Uchiha, standing at the highest point, stood with his hands behind his back, watching Uchiha Nan step onto the high platform step by step. Clan leader, you should be very clear about my purpose for holding this clan meeting today. You and Tobirama Senju are both remnants of the old era. The new era has no ship to carry you. The new era needs young people like me to lead the Uchiha. Step down. Uchiha Nan went straight to the point, stating his intentions simply and directly, without any delay or even the simplest greeting. Confidence, arrogance, domineering. All the Uchiha present felt Uchiha Nan's change today. His performance, which was completely different from the past, shocked them. What a spirit! It's the Uchiha's fortune to have a young man like you. Tomita Uchiha praised, but then his tone changed, with a hint of coldness. But don't you think you're too arrogant? Do you really think that you can run rampant in the Uchiha and even Konoha after Tobirama Senju died? Tomita Uchiha's aura was majestic as he spoke. The three Tomo Sharingan appeared in his eyes as he stared at Uchiha Nan, unleashing powerful chakra. The wooden platform under his feet cracked and was about to explode. Uchiha Nan's expression didn't change at all. This was not enough to make Uchiha Nan retreat. Today, you want to become the leader of the Uchiha. Do you think you deserve it? Tomita Uchiha pointed at the Uchiha present. Tomita Uchiha's supporters immediately understood Tomita Uchiha's meaning. Only clan leader Tomita can lead the Uchiha. You're just a kid, too arrogant. You don't deserve it. In an instant, there were sounds of disapproval, driving the rest of the Uchiha. The voices of Uchiha Anabi, Uchiha Tekka, and his supporters were drowned out by the wave of opposition. The sound of opposition echoed throughout Nanga Shrine. Tomita Uchiha's face showed a triumphant expression. After more than 10 years of cultivating in the Uchiha, he had already gained absolute popularity. He was not an incompetent clan leader. He was able to stand out and become the clan leader after Madara Uchiha left, and he led the Uchiha to become more prosperous. Uchiha Nan could not easily shake him. Uchiha Nan turned his head to the source of the sound at the beginning. A dozen three Tomo Uchiha were staring at him like a pack of wolves looking at their prey. Humph! You all oppose me, then no one can play. I'm flipping the table. Lava style. Spiraling shuriken. Uchiha Nan snorted coldly and instantly condensed a lava-style, spiraling shuriken with one hand. He grasped the power just right, enough to teach these dozen Uchiha a lesson and shut everyone up. They were shouting so loudly, they needed a lesson. Uchiha Nan looked at the group of Uchiha and threw it out without hesitation. Damn it, a madman. Run? We can't retreat, the clansmen are still here. Where are the barrier ninjas? Keep up. The dozen three Tomo Uchiha were facing a formidable enemy. They felt a fatal threat from the shuriken, but they had to take it head-on. If it exploded, the Uchiha juniors present would suffer heavy casualties. Water style. Water wall. Earth style. Earth wall. Ninja art. Four-square barrier. Various defensive ninjutsu were used. One of them was good at sealing barriers and barely intercepted the lava style, spiraling shuriken. With a loud bang, the heat wave affected all the Uchiha present. The weaker Uchiha had been knocked down, but fortunately, there were no casualties, only some skin injuries. Every Uchiha was covered in dust and had a terrified expression. How could attending a clan meeting be life-threatening? Bastard, you're a madman. Tomita Uchiha's eyes were wide with anger. The three Tomo in his Sharingan spun wildly. How dare Uchiha Nan use such a dangerous ninjutsu in this occasion? He couldn't be allowed to live. Just as Tomita Uchiha was about to attack, Uchiha Nan condensed another lava-style, spiraling shuriken in his hand. So Tomita Uchiha immediately stopped and looked at Uchiha Nan with murderous intent. Are you calm now? Are you still shouting? Uchiha Nan held the powerful weapon in his hand and showed a wanton expression, looking at the Uchiha below the stage. They all lowered their heads, daring to be angry but not daring to speak. Especially the dozen Uchiha just now. Their clothes were tattered, their hair was burnt, and they were all injured. They looked at Uchiha Nan with murderous intent, but they didn't dare to move. They were afraid that Uchiha Nan would throw another one. They couldn't dodge, they had to take it head on. If they dodged, the surrounding clansmen would suffer. They were not as crazy as Uchiha Nan. Uchiha Nan was even more Uchiha than the Uchiha. Lava style? How can you use this? Tomita Uchiha's eyes were serious. He realized that the ninjutsu Uchiha Nan used was actually lava style. Where did the Uchiha get this bloodline limit? This was of course drawn by Uchiha Nan from the turntable, the only orange reward he won. He had kept it until today to use it in public. The others who had seen this move were all dead. Uchiha Nan rolled his eyes at Tomita Uchiha's question. Could he tell you his most secret secret? Humph, is this your trump card? I'm telling you, your behavior has seriously violated the clan rules. It's only natural to kill you. It's not too late to turn back now. I can spare your life. If you surrender, are you really going to cut yourself off from the Uchiha clan? Tomita Uchiha's tone was serious. He didn't dare to force too much, afraid of provoking Uchiha Nan and throwing the ninjutsu just now at him. Uchiha Nan was truly born evil.
That's all for now. If you enjoy this video, then please like, share and do comments.